Click subscribe to get daily Manchester United content from Passionate Reds, only on All for United. Hey, it was feeling a bit dubious at one point, but we've made it here to the round of 16 Champions League draw. Welcome along to the live stream. We are All for United. Smash a like on this video, get in the live chat, ditch the corporate companies that are streaming the draw today and stick with us, Passionate Reds, who are going to be discussing everything to do with the draw beforehand. We'll talk about the aftermath afterwards. And of course, we'll be bringing you the draw as it happens on this live stream. Welcome along. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, Simon, for joining us. Of course, John K and John S, because, you know, John K. Let me come over to you first. It was touch and go for a bit, wasn't it? But we've got through the group stage as group leaders. How would you surmise our Champions League run this year so far?
Yes, well, first of all, thank you for inviting me on. It's my first ever show, and been very good contributing in the chat, so thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my views live. In terms of the group stage, we did well in the end to get out of the group with a game to spare. Obviously, we lost the first game against Young Boys, which we were fearing whether we might get through the group after that result. And there were some near moments where we didn't do it. We relied on Ronaldo's win against Villarreal and Atlanta, the late goal away from Elmer's. Well, but yeah, it was. But overall, we did well to get through the group, and that was the most important thing. And like I say, compared to last year, at least we're through to the knockouts this time.
Yeah, it's a good point. Well made, John S. I feel so cool like doing these like initials. We made it through this time, so ultimately still a heck of a lot better. You could say maybe the draw was harder last year, or our group stage was harder last year than it was this year. Again, similar question to you. How would you rate our Champions League run so far?
I think it was much kinder this year. I mean, last year we had Salzburg. Sorry, not Salzburg. We had Leipzig and PSG in the same group, and both of which, of course, ended up, I think, they got to the semi-finals the year before. So that was a really tough group that we had last year. But we had such a good start last year, which was the complete opposite this year, of course. Last year, we won away to PSG in the first game, beat Leipzig at home 5-0, and we thought, well, we're all set up to go through. But then there was the home match against PSG where Fred got sent off and it all unraveled from there. This year, the opposite, in that we had that disastrous start against Young Boys, putting us under immense pressure. We then had 2 or 3 late-minute goals to get us those points away to Atlanta and also at home to Villarreal and Atlanta as well. So it was looking touch and go. But in the end, it was quite comfortable because we had a last game to spare, basically, which is why we had that non-game, if you like, last week. I mean, basically, yeah, happy. What more can you be than to win the group? We'd have been very happy to come second, having lost the first game to Young Boys. So to win the group is great. The draw looks quite appealing. I'm not saying that means we're going to go through. I'm saying appealing in the fact that a trip to Lisbon could well be on the horizon with 2 Lisbon-based teams there. So, yeah, a lot to look forward to.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. I clicked the button and it was fine, and then all of a sudden it muted itself. Someone doesn't want me to talk. Simon, are you slightly concerned that we've played Villarreal, Atalanta, and Young Boys? We've not looked impressive, really, in any of those games. You'd say that Super Michael Carrick's reign in the game against Villarreal is maybe that second half performance is the best we've played in the Champions League so far this season. But let's face it, the level of opposition and what you're playing for now goes up a level. Does that concern you?
Yeah, well, it's got to, hasn't it? Because, like you said, we just haven't convinced. And I looked at the group at the start of it, and I actually thought it was tricky rather than easy, because it just looked like a lot of banana skins, and it kind of proved to be that in the end, didn't it? I mean, but I can barely remember a good half an hour of football that we've played really in the Champions League so far. it's all been last ditch. I mean, yeah, you're not going to get away with that in the against the better teams. So, but it's the group stages, no, the knockout stages. Sorry, it's a long way away, isn't it? So Rangnick's got a lot of time to actually put his imprint on the side, and you'd be thinking that we're going to be better by that point. I'm not expecting anybody to come in January and the team to change or anything, but you'd like to think that he'll at least have his way with the team and improve us there. So yeah, definitely a little bit worried. But if you manage to avoid one of the absolute bigger teams in this round and get to a last eight or something like that, the confidence builds and the chest puff out when you get into like quarterfinal, semi-final stage. So I think that could be crucial. But ideally, you want to avoid the absolute big boys for this one. I think just judging it off current form. But like I say, it's probably silly to judge it off current form anyway.
Yeah, again though, we say avoid the big boys, but again, we talk about the levels. That's a big concern here. The levels, even if we play against a Salzburg or we play against a Sporting or a Benfica, as you mentioned, then have we done enough? Have we shown enough this season so far that we are capable of taking that easier draw and letting luck run our way? We take the mick out of City. Callum said it last night. We'll probably end up with PSG, and City will end up with Accrington Stanley somehow out the back of this, this Champions League draw. But at least they go there and they get the job done. We struggle to get the job done, and we have struggled this season to get the job done in so many different games. I just want to quickly have a look at who we could potentially face in the draw. It looks like things are just about to get underway. PSG, Atletico, obviously are in the hat there. I don't know. Can we draw them? I don't think we could. We can draw Atletico Madrid. Oh, interesting. Sporting Lisbon, Inter Milan, Benfica, Villarreal, Salzburg are all in that hat. I find it quite interesting that. Villarreal aren't in the hat. What's this that I'm looking at?
We can't draw Villarreal. They're the same.
Can't draw.
Why have I got I've got names? Even someone's put here that we could draw Chelsea. What are they on about? We could draw PSG, Atletico Madrid, Sporting Lisbon, Inter Milan, Salzburg, and Benfica. They're the teams that we could draw. Thankfully, it is looking, by the way, that at some point we'll face an English team, especially if we get through this round. Let's start with you, John Kermode. Let's come over to you first. Who would you like to see us draw today, and why?
Well, I think you're probably looking maybe one of the Portuguese team, Benfica or Sporting Lisbon. But although you've got to be cautious about that, because there have been times in history where we've had a relatively easy draw and we've been knocked out. I think that's to be a few years ago, Porto and 04. But I think I personally would want someone like Sporting Lisbon or Salzburg or Sporting Lisbon ideally, because I think the levels of their leagues aren't level with the Premier League, so that's who I would personally go for, one of those teams.
Yeah, what about you, John Silk?
I think there's a lot of very nice away trips. Salzburg sounds good, although February will still be pretty chilly. The two sides in Lisbon, I think, will be great because I think the warmer climes there will be more of an interesting away trip too. But I think really in terms of quality, there's only one absolute standout team, which is PSG. I think that's despite the fact, obviously, we had that romantic victory there a couple of years ago. I think that's the one to avoid. All of the others, with Atletico, you would have said the same a couple of years ago, but they look a shadow of the team that they were, say, 3-4 years ago when they had a couple of runs to the final. So basically I don't want PSG, if I'm honest, because I want us to go through and have the best chance of doing so. As John said, either the two Portuguese sides or Salzburg would probably offer us the best chance to do so.
Yeah, do you know what? Sporting Lisbon worry me a bit. Portuguese champions, obviously. Is he Ruben Amorim? Who is there? Is it Ruben Amorim, their manager? I think that's his name anyway. I don't know if you saw, but he was under this initiative that Jose Mourinho was principal of a few years back and has come through quite a highly esteemed academy of coaches. And he seems to be doing really well there at the moment. It's a team that doesn't know how to lose.
Couple of things with the Sporting Lisbon thing. Of course, that would be a trip for Cristiano back to his home club, and we did play them in 07-08 en route to what turned out to be a Champions League winning campaign.
But John, do you not agree that there's quite a few romantic ties here? I mean, you've got Salzburg. That's the possibility of Rangnick going back to an outfit that he knows really well, and obviously a club and so to speak, an entity that he built. You've then also got PSG. The rumours around Manchester United and Pochettino and Ronaldo v Messi. Like, there's so much romance within
Benfica as well. Was our first ever European Cup win was against Benfica, Eusebio et al. So there's a few narratives out there, that's for sure.
Inter Milan, loads of former Manchester United players.
Didn't Matic and Lindelof play for Benfica?
Yeah, Matic and Lindelof used to play for Benfica as well. Yeah, you've got loads of the old United players at Inter at 2. But Alexis is still there, Darmian's still there. There's a lot of romance in all of these ties, actually, and there's a connection between Manchester United and those. The only one that you say maybe there isn't, although again depends how seriously you took the Trippier links, is the Atletico Madrid tie. And I think actually quite a lot of people are sleeping on that. Atletico got beaten well last night by Real Madrid, and they've not been great. This isn't the Atletico Madrid of old, and again that would be a tie that in the past United fans would look at and go, nope, don't fancy that at all. But you know the possibility is there. They are just about to get going with the balls, by the way. But before we get over there and we have a look at who's drawn, Simon, go on. Who do you want?
Well, you stole my point about Salzburg, because I think Rangnick will know the ins and outs of Salzburg. You'd think so. I was thinking them, and then the romance of the Lisbon thing with Bruno. As well.
Manchester United are out the hat, guys. United are out the hat first.
Okay.
So the draw is
Benfica have drawn Real Madrid already. I think I think this is
Real Madrid, so that's Benfica out of the run-in. So Manchester United are out the hat. So let's have a look at who they're going to get. We might be slightly behind here, but Manchester United have drawn. How's that?
So we'll be at home first.
So we'll be at home. Oh, so they're doing the home teams. Okay. Right. So Man City have now also been pulled out the hat. So they're going to be home. Although for a moment there, it looked like Manchester United had drawn Manchester City, which was really, really weird. Okay. Let's wait and see what's happening. Don't quite know what's going on here because they've pulled out 3 names out the hat.
Benfica are playing Madrid anyway, that's for sure. So that's done.
I've missed something here.
Yeah, I've not got my volume turned up loud enough to know what's going on.
No, it's really weird. It's how it happened is really weird. So United were pulled out the hat, and
did they pull someone out that we can't?
Yeah, Man United drew Villarreal. They pulled Villarreal out, then they pulled Man United out, but they had to put Man United back in because Villarreal can't play Man United.
Yeah, that must be it.
So they'll draw another ball for Villarreal. So Benfica will play Madrid. Villarreal will play.
City can get Villarreal, can't they?
Yeah.
Oh, am I back?
You're back.
Am I back? Sorry about that. Don't know what happened then. I'm back. Perfect. Am I back? I'm back. I think I'm back. I can see you guys.
You're there.
I don't know what happened then, boys. Did they put out the wrong ball?
Yeah, basically Man United came out of the hat, but they can't play Villarreal. So Villarreal are going to play Man City.
Then
I've just got
Atletico Madrid because they've also just pulled out.
So there have been 3 draws: Benfica versus Real Madrid, Villarreal, Man City, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
No, the Sky Sports says that they acknowledge the error about drawing United out. So
yes, Sam Luckhurst, everybody's favourite journalist. He said United drawn against Villarreal, then they realised they can't because they're in the same group. Right. So Arshavin pulls out City. Yeah.
Wow, what a mess.
Imagine if they hadn't realised.
This is a mess. Well, I thought I was making this a mess then for a minute, but I didn't have a clue what was going on.
Michael Cox has made me laugh. He said, yes, a mistake in the draw. All these years we spent dreaming of it, and it's finally happened.
So Salzburg have been pulled out now, so
that would be nice.
Right, so we've got Benfica versus Real Madrid. We've got Villarreal against Manchester City. And Salzburg have just been drawn out, which means Manchester United could come out the hat here.
Yeah.
Is that Arshavin doing the balls as well? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in ages.
He doesn't really have a Champions League pedigree, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. And there is Liverpool.
Ah,
Of course.
Right. So
the PSG are still there. Looming
PSG.
as our Sporting Lisbon,
Yeah.
as our Inter.
PSG.
So we've got
Inter.
three options: PSG, Inter, or Sporting Lisbon.
We're
I
getting
want
PSG
Sporting
again, aren't we?
I want Sporting Lisbon.
Messi versus Ronaldo.
It's a mess so far, though, guys. I'll tell
Right.
you. Blimey.
Milan are out. Milan are out the pot. So
Inter,
Yeah, into here.
Inter.
So it could be Lille, Ajax, or United.
I think we could take on Inter. I think they were good last night on the top of Serie A, obviously, but I'd still back us out of them and PSG anyway.
yeah, but I'd
Still
rather get
can't
Sporting.
Still
Yeah,
can't believe they got it wrong. Is it United?
Oh,
It looks like it. That looks like a long name. No, it's not. It's Ajax. Ajax can't play them, can they?
so
I think they can.
yeah, they weren't in their group, were they?
Because a second ago it said Lille, Manchester United, or I think they're getting their graphics wrong as well that they're showing on screen. No, they're just doing another ball.
Yeah. So it'll be probably Man United.
They can't have Ajax either. So it's Sporting. So they've got Sporting. This is
No,
a
they can't
mess.
They can't play Sporting.
So what? I don't understand what's gone wrong here. Oh no! So now they've drawn out Sporting and United. So right, this will probably be United. They can only play Sporting or Manchester United. So I've just put my foot on the toy box and it's made a train go off in the background. So this is just ridiculous. This is the most confusing Champions League draw I've ever covered, and I've covered 3 of these so far. This is insane. So it's Juventus for Sporting, which means Manchester United will play PSG in the next round of the Champions League. This is insane. I have never seen anything like this before. United will play PSG in the round of 16.
You would have put money on it.
I literally, you've got to watch this to even appreciate the level of mess here. I think they've overcomplicated how they do these draws, by the way. Just get a supercomputer out. Stop messing around with jiggling these balls in these pots. We'll just quickly see what everyone else is doing. Chelsea, they'll probably get drawn Man United, although it can't work. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, we've got PSG. It's been confirmed.
Yeah.
That was always an awful one.
Chelsea have got Lille. Chelsea have got... Wait, so Villarreal, City, Liverpool, Salzburg, Chelsea, Lille, United will play PSG.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Who got Sporting Lisbon?
Juventus.
Yeah.
John, immediate reaction. John Kermode, immediate reaction. United will play PSG.
I'm personally would have put money on it if I'm being honest, but no, I personally believe that it is a couple of months, so we can obviously build momentum under Rangnick. By then, we'll be used to his style and that. I personally think if we're informed that we can beat PSG again, personally. Obviously, they got superstars like Mbappe, Neymar, Messi. But I think it'll no doubt be a tough tie. Like 3 years ago, we're playing the second leg at home, aren't we? So I think it's a good tie. It's one that we can look forward to. Like I said before, it's Messi versus Ronaldo, and and it could be audition, see whether Poch might be United manager come the end of the season, maybe, and hopefully we can beat them.
Fingers crossed. John Silk, your immediate reaction. Manchester United will play PSG.
Winner of that match gets the Man United job.
Do you reckon?
Could well be. I mean, I think Poch going out in the round of 16 doesn't look good on his CV. So that just it's the winner of that match will then become the favorite, because I think the Ten Hag link is still somewhat tenuous. So that'll be certainly the additional element to the game. It's the one match I didn't want. If I'm honest, it was the fact that they are. If you said that one of those sort of runners-up is going to win the Champions League, PSG would be that one. So it's the one I didn't want. But hey-ho, it is what it is. As John highlighted, it's a couple of months to go. Who knows what form we'll be in by then? I always think that's the thing with the Champions League draw. It always happens sort of 3 months before it takes place, and all sorts of things can change. I mean, right now, the two English clubs of Liverpool, Man City, would obviously probably be favourites going into that part of the of the tournament. But having said that, with let's say 3 months to go, who knows what injuries could take place? PSG could suddenly run into some form in terms of, obviously they've got domestic form, but in terms of their front three, or the other way around, they could have a couple of injuries. We just don't know. But I would have rather had anyone but PSG is my initial take.
So United have been drawn away, which means the first leg would be in Paris, second leg at Old Trafford.
I think group winners always play away first. I think that's sort of part of the deal.
Yeah. And the full draw, just quickly, Simon, before I come to you for your thoughts. Benfica, Madrid, Real Madrid, that is. Villarreal, Manchester City, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Salzburg, Liverpool, Inter Milan, Ajax, Sporting, Juventus, Chelsea, Lille, and PSG against Manchester United. Get your thoughts in the live chat. Guys, if you're watching this on Facebook, come over to YouTube, search All for United and get in the live chat. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. We've got PSG in the round of 16. If you put in a comment now, I'll get it on the screen and we'll discuss it. Simon, also yourself, your initial reaction. United will play PSG, as obviously hit on there by John, audition for Pochettino potentially, but also Ronaldo v Messi. We get to see it in the colours of Manchester United against Paris Saint-Germain.
You know what? That ain't even crossed my mind, but I've never really paid too much attention to the Ronaldo versus Messi thing, to be honest with you. I'm a bit tired of it by now, but yeah, it was always going to happen, wasn't it? I mean, UEFA seemed intent on drawing us against Villarreal or PSG, as we've seen today. So, yeah, I mean, we've got the confidence of having done it before. I mean, we've gone to Paris before and got results, but I think PSG turned us over, didn't they, at home last time? But that was, again, hinged on that Fred red card, didn't it? So, I don't know. I don't think we should be too scared of them, because they're a bit dysfunctional, aren't they? They got the great players, but I don't think they're a great team. But that's kind of like us, isn't it? So, like John said, and I said earlier, it will come down to what's going on at the time. Hopefully, we'll have found a smidgen of form by then. And I mean, if you get through that round as well, you've got to be confident of where you can go, because that is definitely a tricky tie, and they've been in the finals, semi-finals, and everything for quite a few years. But with regards to Poch, yeah, I don't know. It might still end up being him anyway, even if he loses to us. I mean, I think he's got a little bit of a caveat of everybody knows that he's managing a dysfunctional squad with superstars that I don't know, but everybody knows the situation there with him, don't they? I don't think it's going to, whatever he does at PSG, I don't think it's going to affect where he goes next, because it's like Tuchel didn't get the Champions League with PSG, did he? And he still went on to great things. So it doesn't actually have to dictate the rest of your career, does it? So, but I also don't think that they'll do the same thing. I mean, it's going to be the same thing again if we round of 16 get past PSG. Interim manager gets the job again. I don't think they'll go down that route again, personally. Not on the back of that.
By the time these fixtures come about, though, John Como, let me come to you. The Champions League could be the only thing PSG and Manchester United are playing for, because ultimately by then we'd have had a couple of rounds of the FA Cup. We'd know where the league's at by then, and I don't think any of us expects the title charge. Whereas PSG at that point could also be about 20 points clear in the league. I don't think there's any questions around their domestic achievements either. So the Champions League could literally be all Manchester United and PSG are playing for at that point. Does that add a bit of excitement to this tie? Does it make it more nerve-wracking?
Yeah, right. I think a bit of both, because I don't expect us to be anywhere near the league side. So I think the best we can hope for is top four. Maybe I'll push top three if we go on a winning run. But Yeah, I personally think the only two competition we can genuinely go for are the Champions League and the FA Cup. And like I say, we've got Villa in the FA Cup, and obviously Villa beat us in the league at Old Trafford earlier this season, so that'll be a tricky tie. I think we should still win it, but like I say, it's certainly a tie we can look forward to, and it just depends at the time, I suppose, where both teams are. I'm pretty sure PSG will win the league in their own country out of cancer. I think United will be in and around the top four, but probably a few points off the top of the league. So yeah, I personally think it's something that we'll be nervous about, but equally excited by. But it's hard to see where both sides will be because we've still got a couple of months to go before then.
We have indeed. Brown Knight, we're winning a treble. I admire your enthusiasm, Brown Knight. Agugu, thank you for joining us, pal. Is it true Chelsea can play the deal? Well, apparently, that's who they've got. So yeah, I think so. Keen, the weekly armchair says PSG in the last 16 again. Let's dance. Fred Woodward, at least Rashford will kickstart his season when we play them. He loves playing PSG. To be bloody honest, Fred Woodward, he needs to kickstart it way before then. I'll tell you, it's going to be next February before we play them, and he needs to get his arse into gear. And I don't say that lightly. Thank those you watching right now on YouTube, by the way. If you're watching on Facebook, come and join us on YouTube. Search All for United. We're going to hang around for another 15 minutes or so. Get your thoughts in on the draw. United will play PSG in the round of 16. Obviously, John Silk, the highest trending topic right now on Twitter is Ronaldo and Messi.
When you said hello, John Silk, you're the highest. I was like, what? I'm trending on Twitter.
Nah, not you, mate. Everyone right now on this stream is talking about Simon. So unfortunately for you, pal.
Why?
Yeah, I don't want to break it to you, so I'll leave you to work that one out. It's just a beautiful beard, mate. That's all it is. It's just that's what it is. You need to grow it out a bit more, Silky. You need to grow it out. So everyone's talking about Ronaldo and Messi. Obviously, they're at the end of their careers, but they know how to turn it on at this point in the competition. How much do you think is going to be made of that going into this game?
It'll be it'll be the biggest narrative globally, you would think. But it'll be the second biggest narrative in Manchester, I think, with the managerial situation. Yeah, it's big. It's been a 20-year, 15-year tussle. And yeah, maybe if one of those takes their sort of struggling side, so to speak, to a Champions League final, that would be as big an achievement, that they've arguably had in their career. I mean, Messi's had an unbelievable career, certainly at club level, where he's won Champions Leagues in amazing teams. But this would possibly be the individual thing that Maradona perhaps had with Argentina that he doesn't quite have, where Maradona single-handedly, quite literally, took Argentina to a World Cup title. And arguably, if Messi did the same with PSG this season, he would be the difference, because they would look at PSG for 15 years as they were trying to win the Champions League, getting to one final, that was it. Suddenly Messi comes in and they win it if he's the main protagonist. Same with Ronaldo. Ronaldo, if he takes, he's got us here. He's got us to this stage. That's what Messi doesn't have, because Messi, I don't think he's scored a Champions League goal yet this season. So his performance has been somewhat quieter for PSG. But Ronaldo has single-handedly dragged us, kicking and screaming, into this latter stage of the Champions League. The whole debate as to whether he should play or not, I always thought that was a kind of a bizarre discussion to have, because of the way that, as I say, without him we wouldn't even be in the Europa League without him. So thank goodness we got him, and thank goodness we have him, and he gives us hope going to Paris. So yeah, it is the narrative globally. Personally, it'll be something that I'm less interested in. I think the story's a bit boring, if I'm honest, but yeah, let everyone else chat about it, and then hopefully we get through.
Simon, do you think if one of those two players turns up and really turns it on over the two legs, there will be the difference between which side wins or loses the tie? Or do you think PSG and Manchester United have maybe a bit more to their armour compared to maybe, remember the Juventus and Barcelona tie a couple of years ago, which Ronaldo more or less single-handedly managed to drag Juventus through that second leg and get them through the round. Remember great El Clasicos where Messi would turn it on and drag his Barcelona team through the game when up against Ronaldo's Real Madrid. Do you think it might come down to whichever one of them turns it on in this tie, that side will go through?
Well, so far in Champions League for us, it has been like that for Ronaldo, hasn't he? He has dragged us through with his goals. Whether we might play better as a team without him, possibly, you don't know. But yeah, it's good. That is going to be the narrative. We all know that. But you'd like to think, especially with United, I think we've got a lot of superstars that could turn it on for us. So I wouldn't want it to all be focused around Ronaldo anyway. But you'd like to think that he's got the team gelled by that point, because if he can make Sancho and Bruno work in their number 10 slots and get Rashford firing eventually, then there's plenty of game changers. But it could very well come down to just a shootout between Ronaldo and Messi, obviously. But both teams have got decent players, but just depends on the fitness of them, doesn't it? I think Neymar's out at the moment. I don't know how bad his injury is whether he'll still be out at that point. But then Mbappe, there is loads of game changers and loads of superstars in both teams, but obviously everybody will be focused on them too. But you'd like to think that somebody else can shine as well in that stage.
Up steps Jadon Sancho. Time to make a name for yourself, kiddo. If you're watching on YouTube, hit a like on this video. Please make sure you subscribe as well. It means a lot to us. Hit that subscribe button, turn your notifications on. We talk about Manchester United all the time, and it'd be great to have your company on more live streams. So please hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you with us. We're passionate Manchester United fans that create content about the club, not passionate content creators that create content about Manchester United. So please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to us, and smash a like on this video as well. I want to come to a tweet that's made my day. Henry Winter has tweeted, probably the most dramatic draw Andre Arshavin has been at the centre of since Liverpool 4, Arsenal 4 in 2009. That Champions League draw was a shambles that just happened. It was so odd. And just a bit of a statistic here for everyone. PSG and Manchester United have met 4 times in the Champions League since 2018-2019. Both clubs currently have 2 victories apiece. So it is all to play for. What's weird is we could end up having 3 victories apiece at the end of this tie, but still one of the clubs will go out, which is just...
and all 4 of those games have been won by the away team as well.
Yes, yeah, as well, which is why it worries me a bit that we're away. That we're away. We'll be away second. We'll be at home second. We'll be away first. We'll be at home second. So that's why that worries me a little bit as well. John, let me come over to you on that. So with PSG, we know the players they've got. We know it's a big tie. We know they're a big club. With Rangnick in charge now of this Manchester United side, do you think he'll organise us? A bit like Fergie used to. If we can go there and nick a 1-0 win or a 0-0 draw, let's do the job at home. Or how do you expect us to set up under Rangnick in this round of the Champions League?
Yeah, well, I think he's probably, when he became our manager on the interim, I'll have to look at the reactions of Jurgen Klopp and Tuchel, and spoke very admirably. I can't pronounce it, so basically, he's clearly a good tactician from his previous jobs and that's why I have a bit of confidence going into this game because with Pochettino, while he is a good manager, there are times where he in big games is he the best tactician, and you only have to see how PSG performed against Man City last season, and in the game at the Etihad recently, where basically he's not able to get the whole team playing for him. There are times where they're playing with a back 8 and the front 3, Neymar, Messi, Mbappe. They don't really do the defensive work, and you need to play as a team. You need to defend us. Even this is where I think Rangnick, while we've had a small sample results, obviously Norwich wasn't the best game for us. Palace, we played better, but we kept 2 clean sheets in both of those games. So that tells me that we have been a bit better defensively in the games that he has managed so far. So therefore, I think that this is where I think I have a bit of confidence about playing PSG, because I think that he can get us defensively sound and get us to deal with their threats, but also pose a threat, like you say, with Ronaldo, Sancho, Rashford if he's back in form then, and by then we've got a couple of months to work out how we can improve as a team, and I think we will improve as a team. So I think that in a couple of months he will have us playing better, and that's why I think that we've got a chance in this tie.
Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting, by the way, that the dates have been confirmed. So the first legs are due to be played on either the 15th or 16th or the 22nd or 23rd of February next year, with the second leg falling on the 8th or 9th or the 15th or 16th of March. So what's quite interesting about these ties, if I'm right, and I will have to quickly do a quick look on this, but the games do fall in between, I think, this nice run of fixtures we've got. The only one that is coming up, we'll have the City game on the 5th of March at the moment, or the weekend of the 5th, which means we could end up playing City the weekend before our second leg. So that will be interesting, but that's not confirmed yet. If not, we'll have if we're the second week, we'll play on the 22nd, 23rd, and the 15th and 16th. So that means that ultimately we will be in favourable fixtures around that period as well.
I think the 2 game weeks which you mentioned in February, I think the following weekend we'll either play Leeds away or we'll play Watford at home.
Yeah. So it could set us up nicely for the first leg. Big up Karthik. Second leg might be on my birthday. Well, look at that.
It looks like it's already been confirmed. I think we'll play PSG on the 15th of February and then 8th of March for the.
So we will be coming out the back of the City game into the second leg then.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be coming out of Leeds and coming out of City. So, but again, though, that first leg at Leeds, again, I know it'd be at Ellen Road, but if you wanted to make a couple of changes there, we should still be beating them, especially if we're in good form. So not too bad. Magnus here making a comment. Thank you for joining us, Magnus. Make sure you hit subscribe. If you're watching All for United for the first time, hit that subscribe button. This should be a redraw, though. Manchester United wasn't even put into Atletico Madrid's bowl. I don't know what happened there. There was loads of technicalities with the draw. But as you know, as we've seen this weekend, Magnus, sporting institutes like to make up the rules as they go along when there's a live television broadcast. So whatever the FIA can do, whatever the European Football Association can do, right? Whatever UEFA can do. So dig. So we'll have to wait and see. It's all about sporting integrity, right? Anyway, it's still an interesting draw. I'm looking forward to the build-up of this. John, can we take anything away from those nights in Paris that we've had? Very much a different style of football. I can't see Ralf Rangnick for these 2 games setting up as a counter-attacking team and absorbing pressure. He is very much a manager that likes to have control over the games. Is that a good move against PSG or not? Can we take anything away from those 2 wins and those 2 defeats? What are your thoughts at?
I think 1 or 2 individuals maybe would have some sort of warm feeling as they enter the stadium in Paris, having obviously won there twice in the last couple of years, but most memorably the first time around in 2019. But generally, no, I don't think it'll have any real significant bearing on the game. Regarding Rangnick and where we're at now compared to, say, a few weeks ago, as John highlighted, 1 goal conceded in 3 games under him, albeit against softer opposition, would suggest that we're getting at least that part of the team right at this stage. And you sort of mentioned as well yourself that we wouldn't mind, some of those sort of dogmatic away performances we had under the latter years under Ferguson. I think the 4-2-2-2 formation that Rangnick employs is a bit more set up to keep us solid. And to give us a chance at least of keeping a clean sheet. It's no crazy coincidence that we had that sort of barnstorming victory against Arsenal, of which his comments emerged in the press a couple of days later where he didn't like the lack of control. And then the 3 matches since then, we've looked much more solid. which would give us a chance of keeping clean sheets, which will obviously give us a chance of winning this tie. But there is a little factor which is called Mbappe. He's actually the one of the three, with Neymar obviously being injured at the moment and Messi kind of out of form. He's the one who is keeping things going for PSG this season. I think he's second top scorer with 9 goals in Ligue 1. He's scoring in the Champions League too, and he's also getting 8 assists. So that's not bad as well. He's doing it on both sides of the coin, so to speak. So right now, he's the one to watch out for. But I still think that somehow the Messi Ronaldo narrative will be dragged out. Even if one comes off their backside from 2 yards out, it'll be him or whichever one, the Argentinian or the Portuguese who made the difference, you know.
Love this from Lilest, who says Varane is going to lock him up. Yes, fella. Love that. He also questions about the redraw. Now, I just want to go over this, guys, because something interesting has actually come to light. So there has been a technical fault with the draw. Okay. So when Atletico Madrid came out, Manchester United were in red, which signals that Manchester United had already been drawn. But as we know, Manchester United had been drawn by mistake, which meant that there was a fault when it came to them putting Manchester United in the draw in the group for Atletico Madrid. So Manchester United's ball was never put in the pot when Atletico Madrid's names came out. When it should have been. And I can show you now. I can't play you the footage, but let me just quickly share my screen with you so you can see what's happened. I mean, this is neither here nor there because I don't know if they're going to do anything about this. But please let me know if you can see my screen. You should be able to. So Mark Critchley has put up this video of basically what happened when the draw came about and Atletico Madrid's name came out. And let me just quickly skip through this. You'll be able to see this here. It came out of Atletico Madrid. Then obviously what they did was the whole thing around taking the balls out and then putting them in the pot. Now, from the right on the back row, he would have gone to get Manchester United's ball out the pot. He didn't do that. If you also have a look on the screen in the background here, you can see Manchester United's name in red, which it shouldn't have been. It should have been in green. And this has been highlighted here in someone's tweet. Now, the red shows that the team from the runners-up picked cannot face that team in red. However, Manchester United could have faced the team. The reason why they were in red, which has been put down here, was because it was to signify, I can't find it now, but it was to signify that United had already been picked out the hat. But United hadn't been picked out of the hat. It was an error that United had been picked out of the hat, and they were put back in the draw. So ultimately, United weren't put in to the draw to face Atletico Madrid when they were eligible to.
Dear me.
Yeah,
so, did they want to fix the PSG side? I don't know.
It's all a bit of a mess. I mean, I can't explain it any clearer than I sort of just had. And even in my own head, it's all blown up because I don't know the technicalities behind the draw, and I don't know if any reasons have been put out as to why United weren't put in the hat for that Atletico Madrid draw. But by the looks of it, on what I've just gone through, Simon, there's been a mistake here somewhere.
Simon, we should get your dog to do the draw next time round.
Yeah, no, he's very keen to be involved. He was last time, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, really, they should redraw it, shouldn't they? Just for if we're being right about it. But I think we know they won't. Like the F1 result yesterday. Oh, shit. The F1 result yesterday. It's just not going to happen, is it? They're not going to admit fault, I don't think, and have to do everything all over again. I just can't see it. But I mean, do we want Atletico Madrid anyway? I don't know, but yeah, I think they should do it, but yeah, I just can't see it happening personally.
I don't know what to say. Yeah, that's odd. This is just so odd. Will there be a redraw? Ultimately, by the way, like this also wasn't their fault because by the looks of it, they've just followed a prompter that showed Manchester United's name in red, which meant that they then didn't add Manchester United's ball into the pot, so they're just following the technical. It's obviously someone above when Manchester United's name came out. They obviously ticked a box to say that they had been drawn, which ultimately has messed up the rest of the draw.
Well, weren't Atletico drawn just after the Villarreal Man City draw?
I think 2-1, if I remember rightly. So if we have a look at what the draw is quickly, and I haven't got it up in front of me, so I don't know if anyone else has a draw up in front of them. Let me just have a look here. So the full draw is Benfica, Madrid, Villarreal. Actually, you're right. Yeah, it was Villarreal, Man City, then Atletico against Bayern. So you're right. It was the next draw afterwards.
Yeah.
But United's
So they
name
probably
should have been in
forgot
that
to
pot.
put us back in, didn't they?
Yeah, they completely forgot to put us back in. Someone ticked a box to say that United had been drawn when we hadn't. Therefore, a technicality issue happened, which means that, well, they go one way or another with this. They either go, oh, it's a technical issue, but it hasn't undermined the draw, or it has undermined the draw. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, John Silk, you're quite an intelligent man. I like to think that you come out with sensible suggestions. For one, we're not saying this draw was rigged. Not saying that. There's clearly been a mistake somewhere here. And this isn't just overblowing it. You can see it. The evidence is there. If there has been a mistake here, do they? What happens? Do they redraw? Like what? I don't. They won't redraw, will they? I don't really know what's.
I think you hit the nail on the head. They should redraw, but they won't, because if they do redraw, it'll be admitting culpability, and I don't think UEFA would like that, and it's not a good look, and it's all about look. So as simple as that, they almost certainly won't do it. I have no idea about these accusations of being rigged or not. I think it's a fun narrative, but I don't see the gain that UEFA would get from rigging this particular draw. I can see gains that were occurring yesterday regarding Formula One, and I can see gains that UEFA do elsewhere. But UEFA, yeah, there's no doubt certain things go on there behind closed doors. But in terms of this draw, they just messed up. Yeah, they should do it again, but they won't. They won't. I mean, because there'll be certain travel organizations even now already organizing stuff that'll be going on, and trips will be organized, and dates will be ticked off, and officials' flights will be being booked, etc. So they're not going to do a redraw. I just can't see it.
They've also said here, Brad Cox, who is a friend of the channel, just put out this draw isn't just about Manchester United and PSG. Bayern may have preferred to have played someone else, but they've had that taken away from them. Athletic will feel cheated because their chances of drawing Bayern was then increased. So many different scenarios to be taken away from that draw from many other teams, and that's
I think it's probably they won't redo it because in the end everyone was drawn out, and if there was a team that was a missing ball or something of a team, then they might redraw. But because everyone was eventually drawn, that's probably why they'll stick with the draw they've done.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, if Athletic, I think also could have played Salzburg, so that could have changed the Liverpool draw. Like, there's so much to take away from this. Truckman says, didn't anyone notice a major mistake by UEFA during the draw? Yeah, we're chatting about it now. They didn't take the ball to United when the draw. And also, Truckman, again, on that as well, from what we've just seen too. Again, the fault seems to have lied when United's name came out the hat first. Someone ticked it to say United had been drawn, which meant that United were then shown in red when the Athletic draw happened, which should never have been the case. And it was literally the draw immediately after the mistake. So something there has gone completely wrong. Tom said, according to the Athletic, there's confusion as to whether there have to be a redraw.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the other thing is they must have rectified. They must have rectified that mistake because I'm guessing perhaps somebody would have realized that United were in red and then switched them to green so that they could then
change it. Yeah,
that's right. So they were in red, having been drawn earlier in the draw, but then they were put back in the pot, so they should have gone back to green. At some point, they would have realized, oh my goodness, United are still red at the moment, so we need to put them back to green, so therefore they could potentially get pulled out of the hat against PSG and Lille. No, sorry, Sporting Lisbon, I think.
So like you say, it just depends how long we're in red for. It might have just been for that draw, but if it was for 2 or 3 draws,
but like John pointed out, someone behind the scenes at UEFA must have known that there had been a fault there, which then means they're guilty. Which then means that they had to do something to rectify it, right? Which means that a mistake happened. Again, none of us here are shouting out rigged. We're saying that a mistake here has clearly happened. Nonetheless, says when will any game dates happen? I think, as John said earlier on, there have been some dates flying about, but it's looking like, if I remember right, John, you mentioned the 15th of February will be leg 1 and the 8th of March will be leg 2. So that's what it's looking like. If this stands, we'll have to wait and see. One final point. We're going to stay live for about another 5 minutes. We'll take it to midday. Someone on the Athletic has commented on their piece, and Laurie Whitwell has confirmed that they have asked UEFA what's going on, because this seems like a huge error. And again, loads of journalists coming out saying that there is nothing in the rules to say that United should have missed that pot. There is no reason why United should have missed that pot. So there has been a massive error here somewhere. Interesting. John, you've just made a good point as well about the PSG game. They could have a new player from Manchester United by January, couldn't they?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be cup tied or how that works, but Martial has been linked with them in quite a few outlets this morning. I mean, it may not be true, you know how these links are, etc., etc. But there's more than one. I think 3 or 4. I saw Eurosport reporting on it and a few others this morning. So who knows?
Who knows?
But we haven't mentioned that Herrera returning.
Yeah.
And Di Maria as well.
Well, that's about Di Maria.
I mean, just how many narratives are there? I mean, as you say, that those two would be nearer the top of the narrative tree, if you like. But
well, it was Herrera who got Fred sent off last season, wasn't it?
Oh, may well have been. I think Fred got himself.
Got himself sent off, didn't it?
Yeah,
well, yeah, I know.
Like 17 times.
I think it wasn't a tackle on Herrera or something. Or,
maybe, yeah.
I think Herrera was involved in some kind of way. So.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just reading through all this. There is a lot coming out at the moment. And of course, as you can imagine, British press having an absolute field day with this. Guys, if you're watching All for United for the first time, hit that subscribe button. We're just passionate Manchester United fans that talk about the big Manchester United talking points. We create content off the back of that. So if you love getting involved, if you love having chats with your mates about Manchester United, or you love having chats with your mates about football, that's what we do here. We don't throw things. We just have a general discussion about things. So hit subscribe. John Commode can vouch for this. He's always in the live chat. He loves it. So make sure you join in and you subscribe. Hit a like on this video. Get your thoughts in the live chat as well. It's all very, very interesting. This. Just quickly, let's go through one by one. John Commode, what do you reckon with this information that's come to light? We've all sort of had a little say on it, but do you reckon there'll be a redraw or no redraw?
I don't think there will be. I think because in the end, like I said, there will be every team was drawn out in the end. I think if there was a missing ball throughout the draw, then they will probably redraw. Then I personally don't think it will be redraw. I think they'll just stick with the draw they've made. Also worth mentioning Cavani as well against PSG as well. So,
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What about you, John Silk? You've had your say on it more or less, but just to quickly confirm your stance on it, you don't think there'll be a redraw, do you?
No, I don't. And if this tweet from Miguel Delaney from 15 minutes ago says anything, it's about, he said he's spoken to a few people at UEFA. Early indications are that despite the confusion over United and Atletico, there will be no redraw. So that's. I mean, he knows far more than I do. I think he may even be at the draw itself. So. Yeah, I don't see there being a redraw. There should be, but there won't be.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. And the step-by-step on this, guys, is United was wrongly drawn against Villarreal, who were in our group. We then appeared to be excluded from the Atletico tie that happened straight after for the draw. We were then drawn against PSG because every other name went out the hat before us.
Of course, there's an argument. Sorry, there's an argument to say that they could also do this is just going to make it more complicated. I know. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the first 6 or 8 balls being pulled out the hat, so they could arguably stand. It would be from the mistake onwards that they would have to redraw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, think about the uproar that people have had if they've got quite an easy draw now and then they suddenly do a redraw and they suddenly get someone much tougher. Like the fallout from it is not going to be worth it for UEFA, is it? I don't think.
But again, like Brad Cox said, though, And moving back sort of what you just hit on there, John, ultimately this happened. The United were pulled out like the third name out the hat. So the issue happened right at the start of the draw, really. Only Benfica, Real Madrid had been drawn at that point. And ultimately then what transpired afterwards affects every other team who are in the hat anyway, because there's so many different scenarios and routes that people could go down that it affected Bayern. It affected all the teams that United could have done.
The plan is that when you've got pot 1, pot 2, and then once pot 2 cannot play pot 1, so to speak, they go back in. So I think that is kind of still part of the plan, if you like, that you just go back into the draw. The only thing that could potentially happen with that plan is that suddenly you've done the whole draw with 12 teams, say, drawn out, or most of the draw 12, and then you've just got a bunch of teams that can't play each other in the last round or two of so that would then mean having to do a redraw. I mean, it's just I
do agree with you.
The other factor is what I mentioned. How long were we outside the pot? Was it just for that Atletico draw, or was it 2 or 3 draws that were out?
This is what John said. This is what John said a minute ago in terms of that. It did seem like we then went back in because we were time. I think the next draw then was Sporting Juventus, and we were eligible because Sporting came out the hat. No, Liverpool Salzburg. Salzburg came out the hat, and I'm sure that we were eligible at that point. So clearly someone knew or had seen that United had been dismissed from the original tie with Atletico and rectified that. So clearly someone knew that there was a technical hitch somewhere or a mistake. Like I said, mistake had been made. This isn't corruption or rigged. Like a mistake had been made, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Although I think we've learned to never give UEFA the benefit of the doubt, but still. Just quickly, Simon, your thoughts. You don't think there'll be a redraw, do you? You think this will just be it and we'll just be living with it? Again, we're not just saying this, poor Man United fans, we've got PSG, we want a redraw. Whatever, it's a tie to look forward to. But ultimately, rules are rules and sporting integrity. And if there's been an error and something's not worked out properly, surely that needs to be rectified or explained.
Yeah, they're going to have to make a statement of some sort, aren't they? But you'd think there'd be something in the guidelines that says something about if a mistake has been made in the draw. They must plan for every sort of eventuality, and there must be something in there that, dictates what happens. But no, I don't think they will do it again because, like someone made the point before, the wheels are in motion now for everything, aren't they? And to redo the draw when people you're already set on who they've got, and if they're going to get harder teams, everybody's going to kick off. And I don't think it's the fallout. It's just not going to be worth it for UEFA to do it when it was. We might have been out the pot for one draw. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze in UEFA going back on it, even though integrity-wise, it is wrong, obviously.
So, because we've all found out the Champions League is rigged, John Kermode, once we beat PSG and then go to face Real Madrid, semi-final against Liverpool, and then Manchester City in the final, we'll go all the way, right? Of course, that's
absolutely.
But ultimately, do you think we've got enough to get through the round of 16 against PSG? Because that's who we're playing at the moment. Final thoughts.
Well, it's a tie that can go either way, can't it? I personally think we need to sign a midfielder in January if we're going to stand any chance in the Champions League. I personally think we can beat them. I'm not sure we'll go on and win the whole thing. I think we can do well in Europe this season. I considered us at the start of the season that I thought we could do quite well in the Champions League. Like Ronaldo coming back, Mr. Champions League. I just had a good feeling about us in Europe with Ronaldo this season. Not saying we'll win it, but we could potentially reach the quarters or the semis. But obviously we got to get past PSG first. So, but like I say, I personally do think we can beat them, but it's going to be a tie that ebbs and flows, similar to the one we had 3 years ago. So we'll bring it on.
By the way, guys, this gets worse. So Raphael Honigstein, sorry for the bad pronunciation. He has just confirmed that no, Manchester United were not added to the Atletico Madrid tie, but Liverpool were. which would have been wrong. Liverpool weren't allowed to play Atletico Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what has happened here, but they've got it so wrong for that tie. Like, just something's gone completely wrong there. Yeah, very, very strange. Very strange. John, let me come over to you. Look, at the moment we've got PSG. Same question as what I just put to other John. Much better looking, John. What have we got enough to put this PSG side to bed and get through?
Yeah, we have. We do have quality players. It needs to be organized. I think that was the problem under the previous coach. So we have got that capability, but PSG are favourites. If you look at it in a cold manner, if you check the bookmakers, etc., it'll be something like 60-40. But if you've got a 40% chance, then yeah, sure, why not? And it's a cup competition as well, albeit over 2 legs. We're at home in the second leg. Yeah, let's go for it. If Chelsea can win the Champions League in 2012, one of the worst teams in Champions League history, certainly to win a Champions League, then there's no reason why we can't go far in this competition.
Sorry, I'm refreshing Twitter. You're so right, by the way, and I love you, John Silk. Des Kelly's tweeted, the Formula One race officials are looking to see if the Champions League draw will be redone again. Oh, crikey. This is...
it's been a farcical couple of days in sport, hasn't it?
Yes. Don't mess around. Do you know what? Twitter is one of those places that can be a right pain to be on, mentally challenging platform to be on. But on days like today, when something does go terribly wrong, if you have a sense of humor, Twitter is a lovely place to be. It really, really is. Vipul says we can be a good cup team if we had one DM in January. Some more creativity, vertically in our pivot, we can defo win. If Verratti is injured, which he usually is, we've got even better chances. Tom just mentioned here that Aguero is set to announce his retirement today, and obviously it's a shame that obviously things have gone the way he has there, and hopefully all good health to him too. And Michael says, why are all of you over there looking tired because of Man U drawing against PSG? I'm not. I think we're all just a little bit confused by everything that's happened. I mean, even if you rewind to us talking through the draw, I'm sat here like a stuttering mess because I can't even work out what's going on. Like, the whole thing was weird. It was so strange.
I mean, you actually think about it with the United PSG is the tie of the round, and you'd think the media would be like, "Oh, it's Ronaldo versus Messi." It's an advertisement for Poch for United's job at the end of the season, and yet we're here talking about the draw being screwed up. So it's a right mess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, Ray Ain Monosum, who is a sports journalist for AFP, has tweeted, on a serious note, what's your take on such amateur mistakes in the biggest tournament in the world? You believe they can accidentally happen? Or was it rigged for a last showdown between Messi and Ronaldo? And that's the issue. Question marks have to be raised because United were pulled out twice. We weren't. We were excluded from getting potential opponents. Other teams were added to certain cups. Like, it was just all a little bit odd. Guys, there's over 150 of you watching right now. We'd love it if every single one of you could hit that subscribe button and come and join us on future shows. Please do it. Whether you do it after the show or you do it now, just quickly take 2 seconds, hit subscribe, turn your notifications on. If you love chatting football with your mates, you'll love coming and joining us on shows because that's what it's about with us. We're passionate United fans. We love football, and it's nothing agenda driven or no negativity, and that's my shin. All green screens. We're just all about chatting about Manchester United and the biggest football talking points. Hit that subscribe button and definitely hit a like on this video. Just looking through here at some other tweets as well. There's nothing else that's come out at the moment on this, so we'll probably have to end the show and we'll find out more later and talk about it a bit later on. Simon, final question over to you. As I've mentioned to the other guys, have we got enough to get through and beat PSG?
Squad-wise, well, yeah, we obviously have, haven't we? I mean, you've looked at the squad all season and thought it's all the tools are there now. It just, like John said, we need to be organised. I think we were organised last time we did go to Paris and the time before, to be fair. So we know it can be done. Again, it's just going to come down to form at that point in time and injuries and what's going on. But Squad against squad, I don't think there's too much difference. I mean, you've got Messi and Ronaldo, then arguably they've got the bigger superstars, but when they can destroy any team on the day. But I believe that we can do it. It's just going to be whether Rangnick can get us properly organised. And you'd like to think by that point in time we'll have some sort of structure and plan going forward in most games, not just this one. So yeah, I think it's just going to depend on how we do away and how we handle that. And I'd back us at Old Trafford with the fans behind us, and hopefully we can get through. But yeah, it does feel like a 50-50 one, maybe slightly more in their favour, to be honest with you. But we can do it. We know we can do it because we have beaten before at this stage. So yeah, we can.
Mm-hmm. You just wonder if maybe the pressure here of a redraw might actually push them to do it. Adzils, big up, my man. When you coming back on, buddy? I know you quit the YouTube game a little bit, but we'd love to have you back, mate. Honestly, this guy, when I first was introduced to him, I think he's definitely one of the best talents out there, and he's still so young as well. So keep doing your work, mate. He put Bearman thought the F1 was rigged. What a joke. We've played PSG in our last 4 seasons. Besides that, big up my boy Fred. He's been on top fire form. Yeah, again, just quickly, John Silk, let me react to that because we've had plenty of conversations about Fred. If he can keep up that form, if we do get another midfielder to slot in next to him, it's a massively rejuvenated and re-energized midfield, that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see us getting a midfielder in January just because of the kind of quality that we will be looking for. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving the rejuvenated Fred. There's clearly always been a player in there. I mean, he was highly rated before he came to the Premier League. I know Pep Guardiola was a big fan. He obviously plays, I was going to say week in, week out for Brazil, but they don't play on a weekly basis, fortunately. But he's a regular for his national team, and he's getting in ahead of far bigger players in terms of illustriousness, if you like. So I'm really loving it. Keep it up. He's someone that I think Rangnick seems to like, and he's even getting a goal or two.
He is. And the best thing that I like about him is I'm seeing him, and when he charges into a tackle or he goes to make a pass, I'm actually starting to get confident that it's going to come off. And I think that says a lot, because I think there was a certain charisma and certain thing about him that you didn't thrive off of, being what's the word I'm looking for? Optimistic that what he was going to do is about to work out. But now I think we're looking at a slightly different player. He played a couple of forward passes, which I think Ronaldo controlled really poorly actually against Norwich, and their situations really that you need your striker to hold the ball up in. John's made a good point here. Sorry, the last thing that I'm going to say on this, and I think we'll say on it, is that the first leg sort of falls into a nice little run of fixtures or a couple of games, but then the second leg, it's looking like that would be on March the 8th, which would be a few days after the game against City. Then that weekend, the weekend after, March the 12th, we've got Spurs at home. The weekend after, the 22nd, we've got Liverpool at home. Then I think we'll be looking at the next round of the Champions League, won't we? If we get through this one, because it comes within a few weeks after the quarterfinals. Yeah. We've then got Leicester on April the 2nd, Everton on April the 9th, and Arsenal on April the 23rd. March and April are looking, like you've mentioned, John, thought our recent run of fixtures was tough.
Wow. I mean, there's a chance that we could get City or Liverpool in the quarterfinals as well. I mean, we're getting a bit carried away, I know, but still, yeah. What a couple of months that'll be. Yeah,
no, it's wow. I mean, it's tough, isn't it? Look, we're going to end it there. John Commode, John Silk, and Simon. Thank you so much, Simon. It's great to see you back on the channel. By the way, are you still doing your podcast at the moment, or break?
Yeah, we took a break for about 7 weeks because I've just been mad busy, but we were back last week. So Devil's Trident podcast. Oh, yeah, nice, we're back. We're back in.
Oh, so, mate, well, keep up the good work over there. Really, really appreciate it. And loads of people here. The latest news I can give you, Alex Shaw from ESPN has just tweeted, Atletico Madrid are in talks with UEFA about the Champions League draw. UEFA are currently discussing whether the draw can go ahead in its current guise. A redraw decision is coming within the hour, is the word. Part of me really wants to stay live, but the other part of me is like, I've got 3 gentlemen here who I'm sure have to go and do stuff. So I don't want to pad it out too long, to be quite honest with you. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because if there's a redraw, I don't know what's going to happen there. Are they going to redraw in it now, or I don't know. I don't sort of know what's going on. And I doubt anyone wants to go on.
Are they doing the Europa League draw now?
They're doing the Europa League draw right now. But again, there's just a tweet that's come out from Spanish journalist Paul Alonso, who says that his contacts who are in UEFA have told him they'll be in touch soon, redraw being considered.
Yeah.
It has to be reconsidered, doesn't it? But which way they go on it is another thing.
Gerard Romero, by the way, now is tweeting that there's a possibility that the draw is going to be redone shortly. So it's really, really interesting.
Tancredi Palmeiras were tweeting the same thing. He's saying it's getting more and more likely that a redraw will occur. So we'll see.
Yeah, this is, but then again, the big question is: does it happen immediately? Does it happen immediately, or does it happen tomorrow, or does it happen in 3 hours' time? Like, when does the redraw happen?
I mean, they don't have to wait. They don't have to wait for the weather to improve or the pitch to dry out. So everyone's there. Well, let's go.
Yeah, they're set up for it right now, aren't they? So
change
the branding back. You're right.
Surely it won't take long for them to set it off.
By the way, you know what's going to happen? They're going to do a redraw, and we're going to get PSG again.
But
then it will be rigged, won't it?
Fairly, at least Atletico will get the club they're meant to get fairly. At least Bayern will get the club that they're meant to get fair. At the end of the day, a mistake has happened here. We go back to it with the FIA, and I know they're slightly different decisions and a slightly different period of time. But isn't this just about sporting integrity, guys? Like, at the end of the day, if something's gone wrong, you can always question the fairness. So, I mean, isn't it about sporting integrity? I've just put in a private chat for both of you, by the way. I don't know if either of you two have to like dash right now, so feel free to put in the private chat. But I'm thinking about staying live for a little bit longer.
Yeah,
just because and you guys can dash when you need to. Just chuck it in the private chat. And Tom put, no way we're getting easier trying to redraw. Let's move with it. To be the best, you have to beat the best. I completely agree, Tom. I do completely agree. I just think it's just around the whole. Yeah, it's around the whole sports integrity thing. And Nabil says, what is the reason for the redraw, guys? Look, hit a share on this video right now. I'm going to tweet out right now. I will talk you guys through what's happened while there. And then we can let everyone know at the same time. Because it is looking more and more likely that there is going to be a redraw here. I think it's... I think it will be weird if there's not at this stage, because there's just too many people starting to make noise about the possibility of this happening. So I will talk through this with you. Let me share my screen again. Sorry about this, guys. We're doing it off the cuff, so I do apologize if there is a slight lack of professionalism here in doing this. So I can't show you the full video for copyright reasons. Obviously, BT Sports streamed the draw. But basically, before the Atletico tie happened and the draw for the Atletico and Bayern Munich tie happened, Manchester United were wrongly drawn out to play Villarreal. They were added to the pot wrongly. They were drawn to play Villarreal, and ultimately what that meant is there had to be a redraw for that tie. United had to be put back in the pot, and then Villarreal were drawn against Manchester City. It was all very confusing. The next tie then happened, and Atletico came out of the pot. Now, Atletico Madrid were one of the clubs that Manchester United could have been drawn against. Now, something's happened between United being wrongly drawn out, and then United should have then rightly been put into this pot to be tied, that saw Manchester United not go in to the draw for this tie against Atletico Madrid. Now, United are in one of the pots on the back row, and their ball was not included in the draw. If you also have a look behind the guy's head, and there's a zoomed in image here, United are in red, but Liverpool were in green, which means Liverpool was wrongly put in the pot to tie Bayern Munich, to tie Atletico Madrid, and Manchester United weren't included in the pot to tie against Atletico Madrid. So in the background here, and me and John sort of discussed it earlier on, there was clearly a mistake behind the scenes where they clearly actioned that United had been drawn, and they didn't get rid of that for United to go back into this draw, which meant that the guys who were doing the pots were sort of just following this screen to show them who should go into this pot. But this is totally wrong. Like, the screen is wrong. Like, Liverpool should never have been in that pot, and United should have. but they weren't. And then as you go on, the draw was made and they ended up playing Bayern Munich. Of course, the knock-on effect to this is there were so many teams that Bayern could have got. There were so many teams that Atletico could have got that those scenarios were never in play because United weren't added to the pot. Liverpool were. Liverpool could have been wrongly drawn. Like the whole thing just turned into a little bit of chaos at this point. And in the end, it went to United. Ended up with no further teams that they could have played against after Salzburg were drawn against Liverpool and Sporting were drawn against Juventus, that naturally Manchester United ended up in a tie with PSG. So yeah, it was meant to be that United were meant to be in that pot to play Atletico Madrid and never were added. I hope that explains it. If you've got any questions, get into the live chat. Does that explain it, guys? Did I manage to explain that off the cuff? Does that make sense?
You did it amazingly. You did it amazingly.
Yeah, mate. I was really, really worried then that I was just talking gobbledygook, but it's really difficult. Because also, by the way, I'll just come back to it. We're fans. Like, we're just seeing this on Twitter like you guys are. John, and Simon, I can vouch for this, right? Neither of us knows the technicalities behind this draw, technically how it works, and what the rules are around potential redraws or adding people to pots. For all we know, there is a rule in UEFA's 60,000 rule book that says if you get an accidental draw, you go out of a potential next tie draw. Like, I'm not saying that there isn't. It would be stupid if there was, but for all we know, that's a rule. We don't know the technicalities on these things, but what we do know is, again, sporting integrity. We're not calling it a fix. We're not calling it corruption, but something's gone wrong here, right?
Listen, there's three possibilities right now. One is that they keep the draw as it is, which, as I say, I've suspected that would happen all along. But as you say, it's looking more and more likely that a redraw will occur. Another one is that they redraw from the beginning. And as I say, another one would be that they would redraw from the moment the error took place. So they would keep the first half of the draw pretty much as it was. So whoever was drawn out at the beginning, I think Man City's draw was done, for example, early on, etc. They would keep that and proceed. It'll be interesting, and whether there's a rule about this or not, I don't know. If there is a rule about it, you'd think it would be put out there ASAP and would be done and moved on from. So my suspicion is that there isn't any clarification on this. So now it's just up to the UEFA bigwigs to pull something out of their behinds and see where we go from there.
Manchester United apparently haven't challenged the draw, but awaiting clarification from UEFA on what's happened. Apparently nothing has been challenged from United's point of view yet. However, Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich have challenged it, and Liverpool have asked questions why they were wrongly then put in that pot. So I don't think Liverpool have actually challenged it. We're going to stay live, guys. Get in and let me know your thoughts and jump in. Let me just add John in here. If there's any other Manchester United All for United contributors in the chat, or there's anyone who wants to come on and have a chat about this, we're going to stay live for a little bit. So let me know, and I'll send you over the StreamYard link, and you can jump in and have your say. Even if you're on your phone for 10 minutes, come and take the air off of us a little bit if you like, because there's only so much we can say about this. James Dixon says, do we really expect there to be a redraw? Integrity and sport haven't gone hand in hand for years, and I don't expect that to change now. We all know it should be redrawn. I think, John, that echoes your thoughts, I think, more than anything there, and most of ours too. Avinab says, why are you scared of PSG? Simon, are you scared of PSG?
Not scared of them, but you've got to be wary of them, haven't you? I don't think you can dismiss them with the quality that they've got. So no, I wouldn't say scared. I think there's a certain sense of comfort in the fact that we know quite a bit about them, having played them so many times. We know what their strengths and weaknesses are. It's just about defending against that, isn't it? But no, I wouldn't say scared of them. I personally just wanted a simpler draw, because you want the best chance of going further in it, don't you? You just want, and confidence grows as soon as you get to them latter stages as well, I think so. And it gives Rangnick more time to, properly solidify his style of play. So the further we go into the tournament, the better, really.
Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, clubs involved in the Champions League draw mistake are in direct contact with UEFA to clarify the situation. A final decision is still awaited. So we'll wait and see. Meanwhile, in the Europa League, Borussia Dortmund have drawn Rangers. Interesting tie that, eh? X Calabria says, can someone explain why they left out Atletico from playing Man United? So it was the other way round, pal. So basically, United were accidentally drawn to play Villarreal, and we were never added back into a pot, which saw us not end up in the draw for a tie against Atletico Madrid when they were drawn out the hat next. Also on the screen, there was a technical issue somewhere because United were in red, which meant that actually we apparently weren't viable. What's the word I'm looking for? Someone help me out.
It wasn't possible.
Eligible.
Yeah. Wasn't eligible. There we go. There's a word to play Atletico Madrid when we were. So it's really weird. Really weird. Tom, the link is in the contributors chat if you want to jump in. Tom, I put it in there earlier on. And James, I will send you the link, my friend. Yeah, feel free to come and jump in and say hi. Give me 5 minutes on that, James. I'm just reading through some stuff at the moment. There's loads going on here, guys. There is absolutely loads coming out from different journalists at the moment in terms of what happens next. Rodrigo Faze, who's a journalist I've never heard of before, has a decent following, apparently from ESPN. UEFA are close to agreeing the draw repeat. So we went, I've never known a situation. John, you've watched football for a long time. John Silk, have you ever known anything like this?
No, I don't recall a draw for any major tournament, including FA Cup, ever being repeated. So, I mean, I think I've seen quite a few times when certain people have wanted to do a redraw for one reason or another, but nothing quite as clear as this. It's more been a case of, just not very happy with how things went on. And to be honest with you, normally the biggest grumbling is the 17 hours of build-up. But today it wasn't too bad in that respect. I mean, often it's a bit like one of those late night boxing matches where they say it's going to be at 3 o'clock and you're waiting for 4 hours and you fall asleep and then you wake up and it's all been done. So that's normally the biggest controversy. You always get talks of hot balls and cold balls, etc. But I've never known in 40 odd years of watching football and watching draws. I mean, I'm a loser. When I miss a draw, sometimes you can miss one, can't you? And you just suddenly you get a tweet or a message saying we've drawn PSG. You know, oh, in fact, it was actually last night, just before we were talking in the WhatsApp group. I actually just Googled to see when the Champions League draw would be, and it happened to be today. And it's sort of one of those things that often creep up upon you, and it looks like even it crept up upon UEFA today.
Yeah, it's a very, very odd one. John Commode, we're not obviously chatting about this in this way to suggest that we want to redraw and we don't want to play PSG, right? That's not why we're hitting on this. I think if the draw happens, we can look forward to playing PSG, but it's just the uncertainty, isn't it, around all this? Yeah,
it is exactly. I mean, John, I've been following football for around 20 years, and they always say, like, whenever they do an FA Cup draw or Champions League draw, they have to make sure all the balls are out, and because otherwise, if there's a missing ball, they have to redo the whole draw. Obviously, they had the balls for all the teams, but technically, because United's ball was missing from that Atletico draw, then it ought to be redone because the balls, one of our ball wasn't there. So, but obviously, I'm not sure whether there'll be a redraw. I'm not bothered about playing PSG personally. I personally see as a time we can look forward to, but it's not done the right way. It's a bit like the F1 yesterday, the way it was decided. Okay, you can have your views on who should win it and that, but the way it was won, it leaves a bit of ill feeling, and it's the same with this Champions League draw. I don't have a problem with us drawing PSG, but it's more to do with our ball wasn't there for at least one of the draws, and they didn't do the balls properly. Like you said, we drew Villarreal. Liverpool were in the pot for when Atletico were being drawn, so it was a complete farce from UEFA's perspective. Obviously, we're not saying it was done on purpose, but it's a mess.
It is a mess. I'm just having a look. There's loads coming online of an immediate announcement of a redraw. Hammer says, don't know if you said it already. I say someone will be surprised because it means UEFA admitting they're doing wrong. Kind of agree. So we will see. I completely agree, Hammer. I think ultimately there's obviously a big difference, right, between this and what happened at the weekend with the Formula One and the FIA. And the big difference is that ultimately you've got rules down to interpretation and being broken versus evidence of a wrongdoing and a mistake. And I think that ultimately here is the issue, that I think UEFA here can actually hold their hands up and say, look, there was a technical fault. We're sorry. Something went wrong. I think we should redraw this. It's only fair. And I don't think UEFA lose any integrity for doing that. Actually, I think maybe they gain a bit. Whereas if they just leave it to go with everyone asking questions, they're going to have to put out a statement which will just be absolute bluff to try and overshadow or overlook or try and mitigate the fact that there was a mistake here, to sweep it under the carpet, to just keep the draw as it is. And I think the first option may be Simon's the most sensible one, just to do the redraw.
Yeah, I mean, I did say that a lot of clubs will kick off about it, but I think it's going to depend how the redraw goes. I think if clubs do get a less favourable draw in a redraw, there'll still be anger at UEFA for making the mistake in the first place. But integrity-wise, I don't think they would have an argument, because obviously it has to be done correctly. So, yeah, what you suggest, it probably is the right way to do it. But again, as we said before, I just can't see UEFA backing down on it personally.
Stay with us, guys. Get John in the private chat. But if there's a redraw, will Arshavin get paid twice? His arm must be aching. I think he'll probably be substituted off at this point, won't he?
Yeah, it's his fault. Yeah,
not good enough on the pitch. Guys, share the link. We're going to stay live. I think we're the only channel that stayed live during this controversy. I feel like Channel 4 at the moment. They were live for the F1 for about 7 hours the other evening. They just kept going and kept going. So stick with us. We'll try and get some different faces on as well. Not because we're fed up with these ones, but to also give these guys a break. Simon and Johns, I can't thank you enough for sticking with me here. I know there's plenty for all of us to do. So if you do need to drop out, please don't feel like you have to stay if you want to. But I know you guys are as intrigued as me and everyone watching to see what happens here, right? And it's going to be one of those things. We could walk away now. We won't stop scrolling on our phone though until we know what's going on, right? So it's one of those. Something interesting, by the way, just to pick up on this, Barcelona-Napoli in the Europa League next round as well.
It's a bonkers tie for the Europa League, isn't it? It's not even a last 16, is it? It's a playoff thing.
No, it's a playoff one, which is absolutely odd. So many guys interacting. As I said, guys, hit the like button, share the video, hit subscribe as well. Lots going on here because of the draw. United weren't added into Atletico's pot, which meant we were never given the opportunity to play against them. Athletic, by the way, all this being led by complaints by Atletico Madrid. They want their big night out at Old Trafford. This is what it is. They've got to play the mighty Man United.
They've got Bayern Munich. That's why they want to redraw.
I think they've played Bayern Munich a few times, haven't they? I think they were in the Champions League group last year. Well, we've not played Atletico Madrid, have we?
I don't think we have. Not in a long time. Anyway.
Not in recent memory, no.
Ed Equip have come out and said UEFA are now likely to redo the Champions League draw following the errors in the initial process. So Ed Equip and the French football media are on this. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm constantly refreshing my timeline. I know these guys are. Oh, wow. Interestingly, I think the Athletic now reporting that there's not going to be a redraw. Oh, no, it's a fake account. Ignore that. Don't just hate fake accounts. Blimey, what's going on there? I mean, yeah, loads going on. Loads going on. I'm just trying to have a look and see because I've been sent a tweet, but for whatever reason, it's not opening. So we'll see if that has actually been closed. You've just seen something, haven't you, John?
Yeah, just an ESPN journalist with 68,000 followers, so at least not a fake one, just saying that it's getting closer and closer to looking like a redraw. And he tweeted that 12 minutes ago, so who knows what can occur in the 12 minutes since then. But at least we're still here talking about it, and you would have thought that UEFA would have put out something by now to say there's not going to be a redraw if that was the case. But as someone else said, I think within the hour, and that was probably about 25 minutes ago. I mean, time is flying. We've already been on air 90 minutes. We're basically going into extra time, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, so what? Do we rewind an hour and 15 minutes ago and say, Simon, who do you want in the Champions League draw? Like what?
I think it would be wise for. I think UEFA would have more respect if like whenever a person makes an error, we always say it takes a genuine person to admit they got it wrong and to put it right, rather than pretend that the errors didn't happen. And that's why I think UEFA might have a bit more credibility if they actually said, "Yeah, we got it wrong. We'll do it again," kind of thing, to ensure that it's fair. So.
I like it, John. I like it, John. Is the world a good place? Stay here for the next few minutes to find out.
Yeah. You know it's bad when Michael Owen is tweeting about it. This is unbelievable. Will UEFA redo the whole draw? Just pick it up from when the mistake was made again. Who would have thought that Michael Owen and John Silk were so like in terms of thought process? Look at that. Either way, if a mistake was made, it surely has to be done again. So, John, let me come over to you with the important question. And you and Michael Owen think alike. If you had played that long for Liverpool, would you have joined United to win a title?
I would never have played for Liverpool in the first place. That's for sure.
Right, there we go.
That's where we just. But we were both born within a couple of months of each other.
Why do you look so much older? It's a weird one, isn't it?
I think I've had a harder paper round. Let's put it that way.
A harder paper round. Guys, stick with us. It's looking more and more likely that there's going to be a redraw. Simon, I honestly don't know what to say. Like, I don't know if we're now meant to go back and re-predict who we're going to get. I don't know if we need to keep talking about this being a shambles. Like, I don't know what to say next, because I don't know about you, Simon, and this just feels really unprecedented. Like this feels strange.
Yeah, it clearly is unprecedented, isn't it? But I think that's probably why UEFA are in a bit of a panic as well. Because I mean, they rehearsed these things as well beforehand, don't they? So you'd think that, I don't know, there's some sort of plan for when it does go wrong that they'll action. But I don't know. Yeah, I think we're going to end up with the second leg of this stream, aren't we? With another draw possibly.
Well, you know what's going to happen. We're going to stay live. They're going to say redraw, and they're going to be like, "We'll reconvene to do the draw in 6 hours." And it's going to be like, "Cheers, guys. We've stayed live. We've been talking about the draw, but yeah, you do it when suits you. That's fine." Apparently, Real Madrid are the only team that didn't ask for the redraw. And James says, "Subscribe to the channel, or we're getting PSG again." So look, subscribe now. Let's just come through one by one here and just quickly hit on this then. Redraw takes place, Simon. We get PSG again. Are the thoughts the same? Happy enough with PSG in the next round, although it is the hardest of the options?
I mean, we've had about 5 years now to come to terms with it, haven't we? So it feels like Yeah, I'm set on having them anyway, because, like I said, I don't think they're going to redo it personally, even if there is that mounting pressure. So yeah. We're going to get them again, or we'll get Villarreal again, or whatever. they'll pull them out again and try and match us together. But yeah, happy enough with PSG. If it's going to be that, it's going to be that. Everybody kind of braced themselves for that to happen in the first place, I think, didn't they? So yeah, if that's the way it's going to be.
Who did Real Madrid get, by the way?
Benfica.
So Real Madrid are happy with the draw, okay?
Yeah,
Who did Villarreal get? Man City, right? Right. Villarreal are spitting feathers. They are going to fight as hard as they can to get the draw redone.
Clearly, United and PSG are happy with the draw too.
Yeah, right. Because they're sort of, the United are sort of dipping their toes, it seems like. They're sort of sitting on the fence for now. Probably just don't want to make us look like a small club by spitting feathers too much.
But if you're United, you don't have to say too much, because everyone else is making a noise for you, right?
Yeah, you're right.
True.
I mean, United will be happy with the Ronaldo versus Messi thing, won't they? I believe there'll be some sort of thing where they're like, this is box office stuff, and we know what the club's like for big flashy signings and big flashy ties.
I want a redraw. I want one. I want one because it was a mess. Should be done again. Could be more fun. We could be here for hours. This could be just like Groundhog Day. And honestly, I would rather play anyone but PSG. They are, for me, the strongest club in that half of the draw. I mean, by the way, I remember us getting to the Champions League final in 2011 when we played Marseille, Chelsea, and Schalke in the semi-finals. We left us a bit underprepared, I think, for what happened in the final against Barcelona, but we'll leave that to another day. So I'm more than happy to have a nice, comfortable draw all the way to the final. Where is the final this year, by the way?
St.
St.
Petersburg.
Petersburg.
Oh, is it St. Petersburg? I thought
Yeah,
it was
that's
in
why
Istanbul.
they got our shopping, isn't it? Because he played.
Oh, John, thank you for that. Okay, so it's in St.
Makes sense.
Petersburg, the home of Vladimir Putin, by the way. That's where he's from originally.
Oh, yeah.
I hope he's not got
Oh,
influence over it. Yeah.
I think they call it Venice of the North, don't they? Or something like that.
Well,
Or Venice
Zenit,
with bridges.
Zenit is the football club, is Zenith, meaning obviously the top. But I mean, by the way, St. Petersburg has changed its name so often it might even have changed in the last hour and a half.
Oh, yeah. Can I just hit on one thing? We mentioned about being in St. Petersburg, of course, at the Gazprom or Prom Arena, which is obviously the head sponsor of the Champions League.
Oh yeah. And
that is why Hammer says that you're running out of things to talk about. Hammer, we ran out of things to talk about an hour ago, maybe even before that, before the draw was made.
Oh, that's what we were saying. The only other time the final was held in Russia, we won it.
John, look at you.
John, can you just find some more facts for me to do with Manchester United and the Champions League? And I'll just cross over to you, I don't know, probably at the moment every 30 seconds to give us something interesting. Because there's not really a lot more to say right now.
I've got one thing to say about that final. It's also that one in 2008. So the only Champions League final to ever be spread over 2 days, because it started at 10:45 p.m. local time and finished at 1:30 in the morning.
Yes, of course it did.
Yeah. And Ferguson said his socks and shoes were just so wet, he just wanted to get back to the hotel and get changed. He turned up for the banquet still wearing a suit, but he was wearing trainers.
Because the old ground at the Luzhniki was AstroTurf, and they had to put grass down for the final. And then I remember, I think we played them, was it CSKA, about 2 years later at the same ground. I think we won 1-0 and
Valencia, I think.
Yeah.
Good.
Chelsea played Zenit last week in the ground, didn't they?
Yeah, drew 3.
And it was like the last minute goal which denied them finishing top of the group. So we could have faced Juventus.
I've heard that Chelsea are looking to replay that as well.
Yeah. At this rate, I'd love to replay all of the Champions League group games to give me some confidence going into the round of 16.
This whole thing into disrepute. Let's play the whole Champions League group again.
Let's do the whole tournament again. Actually, to be fair, I'm just happy enough we've got group winners. Stick with us, guys. It's looking like a redraw is going to happen. I'll bring you some more news in a minute, but in case you've missed it, errors made during the Champions League draw today. So Manchester United drawn for Villarreal, who are, of course, ineligible to play us in the same group. The draw that then happened afterwards, because Villarreal eventually got Manchester City, for whatever reason, Manchester United was excluded then from the moment Atletico's name was taken out the hat, which shouldn't have happened. Liverpool's ball was added instead, which was completely wrong. No idea why that happened. It seems like there was some technical fault there. United's ball was not included at all in the draw, and clubs are going mental and asking for a redraw. The press are on it, fans are on it. Rigged redraw is trending. No word yet from UEFA. You've had nothing through. But the one thing we can confirm is that James Ridge is with us to discuss the whole debacle. And whenever PSG are involved, James, something goes wrong, doesn't it? There's always some rigging when PSG are involved. I don't know what's happening here. What have you made about this, mate?
Sure, Ben. I'll be honest. I was watching this live stream in Nottingham, back at home. I saw PSG, turned it off in an angry rage, drove back to Derby, and now we don't have PSG anymore. So genuinely, I have no idea what's going on. I needed you to explain it for me then to have any idea of what was happening. So,
did you understand from what I said? What is happening?
I've got a brief idea over Twitter. It's basically just UEFA trying to make money from Messi versus Ronaldo, by the sounds of it, isn't it?
I mean, yeah and no, because we've just discussed this, right, Simon? And ultimately, it is looking like there was a mistake when United got wrongly drawn out, which was a mistake in itself. And the so to speak, the magnitude of these amount of individual errors has just made a mess. More than anything, I can see why people are calling it a rigging, and and people are obviously speaking about it in the same context as what happened in the Formula One at the weekend. But I still think on this one, UEFA can come out and go, look, a technical mistake happened, but because of sporting integrity, we're going to redraw, and we can sort of go, okay. But yeah, I don't know. Do you really think it might have been rigged?
No, there's no chances. No, people want that storyline, don't they? But I mean, when you showed your screen, that was the number one hashtag, I think, when you were showing us the mistake, rigged or corrupt or whatever. But I don't think so. I mean, but you have a lot of rumours, don't you, that the draw's already been fixed, and you see the fixtures ahead of time, but it never really materialises, does it, that way? So I don't know.
No.
I would say I'm quite happy that United haven't asked for a redraw, because do you not feel like if we were the first to go, oh, we want it redrawn, is that not just us running scared from PSG?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good look, would it?
No.
We've had that question put to us as well, James, and we've sort of said that we're not asking to not get PSG. We're just asking for an explanation. And we're just asking in terms of, well, wait a second, why has this happened, and how has this happened, kind of thing. Like, I don't care if we play PSG, but do you know what I mean? It's just, this shouldn't have happened, and there has to be some sort of sporting integrity here, and I think that's where question marks get raised over the legitimacy, I think, more than anything, of this draw. Just on that, Atletico Madrid are the first club to come out and release a statement. They have said, we're in talks with UEFA to ask for explanations and a solution after the mistakes made in the Champions League round of 16 draw. So there we go. They are the first club to come out and release a statement. As of yet, as we said, we don't think United are.
Simon Stone just tweeted saying Champions League last 16 to be redrawn at 2:00.
Yes, so, UEFA have agreed to do a redraw. BN Sports are coming out. So a redraw, by the looks of it, is going to happen.
Bloody hell.
Wow.
In an hour and 15 minutes, I don't think we can fill for that long.
Wow. What are we looking at? So 2:00 Spanish time?
BST, I think he said there. Oh, British summertime. Hasn't been British summertime for a couple of months.
Sorry, not British. Yeah.
Wow, we are looking at another hour.
GMT, sorry.
Why are they doing it in another hour? That's ridiculous.
That reminds me of
have they done the Europa League draw now?
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's all done, yeah.
But they need time to heat the balls again, don't they?
Yeah.
Get the microwave out, yeah.
I think they should get the interns out to do the draw.
Guys, we've got an official statement from UEFA. Following a technical problem with a software of an external service provider that instructs the officials as to which teams are eligible to play each other, a material error occurred in a draw for the UEFA Champions League round of 16. As a result of this, the draw has been declared void and will be entirely redone at 1500 CET, which is 2:00 UK time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
Redraw is happening.
It took some very basic background research to know who could play who. I'm not being funny. I could have looked at that draw and told you who could have faced who legally. You don't need some external software to tell you if you've got a pair of eyes.
Yeah.
They're blaming someone else a little bit.
Is James, are you around 2:00 to host a redraw? Because I'm not.
I'm not. No.
Who's around at 2:00 to host a redraw?
I'll make myself available.
I just have to set you guys all up and put you live. Look, I just want to quickly Callum, I'll have you in for 5 minutes because I think we're going to jump off now, mate, and come back at 2:00. Redraw at 2:00, Callum. What do you make of it?
Is that what's happened? I've not been able to catch up really, mate. So So I know the draw was a disgrace pretty much, but what's happened have they decided then? Yeah.
Yeah, UEFA have just released a statement saying that there was a technical fault, a technical problem with external service provider software, and a material error occurred because of it. The draw has been declared void and will happen again at 2:00.
Hang on a second. How can it be a technical issue? It's just picking balls out of a bowl. What the hell?
I don't know if you saw, but the biggest issue here, and the reason why it happened, and there's been some screenshots shared on Twitter, When the Atletico Madrid ball came out, United were in red because someone, and me and John discussed this, it was almost like someone in the background when United were drawn as a mistake, ticked a box to say United have now been drawn. And they never rectified that when it was declared a mistake, which meant that then immediately afterwards, when we were in the draw for the Sporting tie, they rectified it. So it did look like that. I don't think it's an error in the software. Me and John discussed this. I think someone made a mistake.
Yeah,
but they're never going to say that, right? They're never going to say Billy in the control room pressed the wrong button.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, ultimately they had to redraw it. Like, it's given, excuse me, it's given unfair advantages to certain teams there. You know, like Chelsea got Lille, and the fact that we kind of weren't in the draw for some of them, it's not really fair. Unfortunately, I'll be driving at 2:00, so I won't be able to join us then. But they couldn't not admit the mistake, and they couldn't not redraw it. They had to kind of null and void the draw, really. So the correct decisions come about, but I can imagine a couple of teams will be a little bit annoyed. But ultimately, they couldn't not redraw it. They had to do it. So, you know, it's the right decision. I'm kind of glad. But you watch, we'll get fucking Real Madrid now, won't we?
We can't get them anyway. And if we did, that'd be another redraw.
Yeah, well, we will go. UEFA.
I've just had the thought. Could you imagine if as Liverpool just drawn Salzburg? Imagine the redraw they got PSG.
But this is what I mean. Everyone's going to be annoyed in some way now. Everyone's going to be annoyed now in some kind of way, aren't they? Because they're going to have to redraw it in terms of if Liverpool now do get PSG or if whoever, they're then going to be annoyed. So the fact that UEFA have messed up so much is a real big issue for a lot of the teams, and they're all going to be putting in complaints now. But they have to redraw it because of the issue that and the mistake that they've made, and it's just going to end up pissing off a lot of teams. And it's unfortunately it's just the way it's going to have to go.
100%. Callum, just quickly, just a couple of minutes. We did initially get PSG. What was your reaction to that there and then? And if we got them again now, do you now not care if we do get them? Whereas before you might just be like,
everyone's like kind of a little bit worried about PSG. I don't really see the point. I think obviously they're dominating in the French league, but you know we've had them last season and the season before, and we beat them both years. Obviously they're a threatening team, and ultimately I would allowed so-called easier side, but it's not as if we can't beat PSG. So I wasn't too fussed. I was more annoyed at the mistakes that were made, which then led us to get into PSG. If the draw was done fine and everything went right and we got PSG, I'd have just been like, oh, we could have got an easier draw, but we've done it. We've beat them before. At the end of the day, you've got to beat the best teams to win it. And obviously, I prefer a so-called easier run to the final if we get there, I should say. But you know, it's not to say we couldn't beat PSG. So if we get them again in the proper draw, I don't think I'd be too bothered.
All right, mate. Thank you for jumping on. If you're about after the draw later on, come and give me a shout and come and join us. We'll be live from 2:00 with a draw. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, no worries. See you in a bit.
By the way, John Silk, John Kermode, Simon, I don't know if you guys can jump or want to jump back in at 2:00, but what we're going to do, I'm just going to go over and get a couple of thoughts from people, just reactions to the fact there's going to be a redraw. Then what we're going to do is we're going to stay live on the stream, but you will see this. And you will see that until 2:00 when the redraw will happen. So we will still stream and be here for the redraw at 2:00. But we may disappear for an hour or so, and that will be your screen whilst we're away for that hour or so. But we'll keep the same stream going. James, I know you've got to run off quickly, so just very quickly, James. Again, your reaction to the redraw, mate. You are muted.
There we go. It's not been a great week for sporting bodies, has it? Put it that way. But I suppose it needed to be done. Out of the fairness of sport, at least UEFA were happy enough to admit their mistake, unlike a certain glorified Scale Electrics company.
Good afternoon, Michael Massey.
But regardless, I I really hope we now see PSG given to City. Not City, sorry, they can't get City, although you probably don't know that. Give PSG to Liverpool, give us someone. I'd actually quite like an easier draw now, just purely to boil some blood. It almost went uncut then, but not past the watershed. But yeah, it needed doing. I don't know whether I'm particularly happy. It's not as exciting as you probably thought it would have been. It don't have that same level of excitement this time around, does it? But if we get PSG again, so be it. We're going to win anyway. Who cares?
Got to say it, James. Carthic's not around anymore.
I'm not saying it.
Say it, James.
He's burnt his hand.
Oh,
There's a slight possibility we'll win the Champions League. There we go.
You heard it here first. Jimmy Rodrigo said it. He's a respectable journalist because his name's Jimmy Rodrigo and he's on Twitter. He said it. We're going to win the Champions. It's confirmed. Here we go. Done.
And I did say before, we're the only team to have ever won the Champions League in Russia.
John Commode is also on the bandwagon. James, thank you for jumping on, mate. Really appreciate it. If you can come back later, feel free to. But if you're not around, then fair enough. Tom Wade, let me bring you in, pal. Just really, really quickly. There you are, mate. How you doing? Thanks for being in the live chat, mate. And redraw. What are your thoughts?
Mate, I find it very touching that UEFA do a little dedication to the FIA this weekend. It's fantastic, isn't it? They did it just for them. Let's be honest. If they're going to do it, we've got to go one better. Nah, look. At the time, and I said it in the chat, I'm not bothered. I don't want to redraw. I don't care. Let's roll with it. If we're going to beat the best teams in this competition, then what's the best way to tune yourselves up for a deep run than beating PSG, the so-called one of the best teams in the competition? Let's go out, get a result, put them to the sword, on our way to doing what James said. I can't be that confident to actually say it, but no, I think it's hilarious, isn't it? If it in a weekend of controversy in sport, like if anything could just happen, it happens, isn't it? And for them to not take the blame and say it's a third party, just own it and just say, look, we messed up. We'll do it again because everybody but Manchester United wanted the draw. It's whatever, isn't it? I think it's just funny. I find it hilarious. It's peak 2022.
It really is. And one last note on that, Tom, just very, very quick, because we're going to go off and have a break for about an hour before the redraw actually happens. If we get PSG again, were you now at the point where you'd be happier with that than maybe you were when we first got them in the original draw?
No, my Benfica or Salzburg. I'm on Salzburg, because Ralph Rangnick goes home, isn't it? But we're Rangnick's redraw Reds. We'll take anybody. Come on, let's have it. I don't mind if we get PSG. I don't mind if we get... Never. It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. Yeah,
Rangnick's redraw Reds. I love that. That's the best name yet.
That's what it is. That's it.
Tom, thanks for jumping on, pal, and hopefully we'll see you in the live chat later on, man. Thank you, pal.
Yeah,
have a good rest of your day. I think he's at work. Bless him. Simon, let me come over to you. I don't know if you're coming back at 2, but let me come over to you for some final thoughts on this. What's your reaction? We didn't think the redraw was going to happen, but it is.
No, I am pretty surprised. I just didn't see that happening. But I mean, the mounting pressure as well. They probably had to do it, and we all thought they should do it. But yeah, I am actually blown away that they've done it. But they did have to get a little dig in at some sort of third party external service, didn't they? They didn't shoulder all the blame, so they passed the buck a little bit. But yeah, I think they've done the right thing. And let's face it, out of our draw, we can't get any tougher than what we got anyway. So if we get them again, whatever. If we don't, it's probably a little bit of a bonus. So yeah, but very surprising.
Well said. Well said. I know John Silk's going to come back. Simon, if you can come back at 2, feel free to, man. It's been a joy having you on. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much. It's been great having you.
Yeah.
Go and have some deserved lunch. It's been a bloody busy couple of hours.
The dog wants his dinner, yeah.
Mark, let me come over to you, mate. Bloody hell, what a stream this has been. And we're still going to stay live for the redraw at 2:00 as well. But a redraw, this is bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously been talks over the years about corruption and all this, and we've just caught them out live on air. I don't think obviously is on purpose or whatever, but just a bit of a farce, quite frankly. And yeah, a redraw needs to be done. And listen, I've seen a lot of other fans saying, "Oh, United fans crying and wanting a redraw." It's got nothing to do with that. It's about fairness. And quite frankly, if we get PSG again, I'll be over the moon with that. I don't care who we get. It's about testing us against the best teams. And if we get him again, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, an absolute farce today. I saw as well that there was a mistake with the Europa League. Is that right? There was a small mistake with Europa League.
No,
That's
I
what
don't think
I
there's one
saw
for the Europa
somewhere,
League.
but perhaps not.
Maybe
But
not.
yeah, what an absolute farce, quite frankly. But yeah, we'll be back at obviously 2:00. I'm going to join just after 2 if that's all right.
No.
But yeah, we'll go through that.
We're
And
going
see it live then.
to bet they'll redraw the redraw.
Yeah. Oh, bloody hope not. I can't be live all day today. I tell you.
Well, third redraw about 5 o'clock, probably.
Well, feel free to come back at just after 2, Mark. It'd be good to have you in. But we'll keep it brief for now because I want to jump off and get some lunch in a second. John Commode, you've been live with us as well, mate. Of course, we didn't think a redraw would happen. Your final thoughts?
Yeah, I personally think it had to happen. Of course, it did, and that's not to say I didn't think PSG was a bad tie. It was a tie I was looking forward to. I personally think we might redraw them again in an hour's time, but I think it had to be done, didn't it? So, you know, unfashionable to say, but fair play to UEFA for admitting they made the error and for agreeing to the redraw.
100%. Well, John, feel free to come back and join us, mate. We'll be back live for the redraw at 2:00. Thank you for your time, mate. And look who's finally here. Look, he was meant to be here at 11 o'clock. We've done 2 hours and he's finally woken up, smelt the roses and come in. What a professional. Last night, last thing I heard you say on up was, I'm a broadcaster, Karthik. I'm a broadcaster.
Okay, first of all, I was very skunked yesterday, extremely tired from watching the women's team and watching the Formula One at the same time, having to watch it all back again because I didn't watch all the race.
Yeah.
Having to do all that, go on cut, went straight to sleep. I literally woke up about 5 to 12, so I decided I'm late anyway. I'm gonna watch the draw. Let's see what happens. I've watched the draw and I've immediately noticed the mistake they made. These are the rarest things that can happen on UEFA events. And for once, I feel like waking up late has actually benefited me because then I didn't have to see the madness happen live when it did and experienced initially the shock of getting, old friends in Paris. But look, how we managed to get, balls up in this, I have no idea. They popped it up with drawing Atletico, helped get us draw with Villarreal. We've already played them in the group. And then to be saved to the very end, where we have to then meet PSG. I could smell the roses from ages, like far away. It was never real. It was never going to be real.
It's odd though, isn't it? We've never gone through anything like that. If you can, mate, join us at 2:00 when we do the redraw.
Oh yes. Also freshens up, of course.
This is the best £4.49 I have ever been given. By Manchester City are winning the Champions League and Premier League this season, who is trying to throw in my face that Max Verstappen and Red Bull won last night, and we should all laugh at Hamilton and Mercedes. Just to put that into context, mate, you've just bought me a pint whilst hating on me. Like, thanks. Cheers, pal. Like, you're the nicest. This is one of the nicest hate I've ever had. Like, this is brilliant. You can come back more often. I love this. But I'm still not happy, so stop rubbing it in my face. Lucky I'm calm. Hey, you're lucky I'm calm. Look, we're going to be back in an hour. And any of our contributors, feel free to come back and join us. Sorry for only getting you in briefly at this point, but we have been live now for nearly 2 hours. What we're going to do, just to explain, so the redraw is going to happen right here on this stream. So feel free to keep it on. Feel free to mute it. Feel free to share it as well. Like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to stay right here. I'm just going to put up a hold screen. And then you're going to hear my voice again at just before 2:00. And we'll bring the guys in and we're talking again about who we want in the draw. And it'd be like deja vu. Oh, blimey. Cheers, UEFA. Feel free to keep having chats in the live chat. I'm sure Reese will still be about and some people will still be about. But thank you guys for watching this first part of the farce of what has been the Champions League draw. We'll be back for the actual round of 16 draw right here at 2:00 GMT, which is in exactly 1 hour's time. So hopefully we'll see you all back here then. Make sure you hit that subscribe, by the way. If you're going to head away for a bit, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to All for United, because this is what we do. We're passionate Manchester United fans talking about the biggest footballing topics, and with you in the live chat as well. We'd be nothing without you in the live chat. So get subscribed, get in the live chat, and we'll see you at 2 o'clock. Ciao for now. Hello and welcome back to All for United. It is the live stream for the Champions League round of 16 redraw. It's good to see most of you still here. Look, we are an interactive fan channel, and luckily we're not of the size yet that means we can't interact with you. So we want to interact with you. Get in our live chat. If you're on Facebook right now, we can't see you. We don't know who you are. You can't even get involved with a conversation. I've got an awesome panel lined up to come on for this draw. So come and interact with us in the live chat. Just search All for United on YouTube and come over and join us. John Kermode rejoins us. John Silk is on, and Ahmed in his very dark room is here as well. Thank you guys for jumping back in. John Silk, let me come over to you first. I'll move people around. By the way, you're all muted, so you're going to have to unmute yourselves. Apologies for that. Let me come over to you, John, first. Do we rediscuss who we want in the draw? or are you optimistic it's going to be PSG again?
I'm happy to just regurgitate what I said a couple of hours ago, which was anyone but PSG.
I mean, it's not a bad shout, is it? It's a glamour tie, though. John Kermode, what we originally said, I think, still stands. PSG against Manchester United will be the tie of the round of 16 because of the romance behind it, right? So if it happens again, something to look forward to again.
Yeah, definitely. So, and I actually think it will happen again, personally. But I think but obviously the draw had to take place, but even before we knew it was going to take place, I was saying that it was a tie to look forward to. We don't know where both sides will be in a couple of months' time, and but hopefully by then our team will be more confident and will hopefully be on a winning run by then, and we'll understand Ralph's system better. So, but we'll obviously find out who we'll get soon.
Yeah, obviously at the moment we have no idea. It's meant to start dead on 2 o'clock. It is now dead on 2 o'clock, so we'll have to wait and see where it comes in. Ahmed, we didn't speak to you before the draw, so now's our opportunity to say there's a plethora of teams that we could potentially be drawn against. Who do you want us to see us against? The Sporting, Benfica, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, PSG. Who would you like to see us draw?
Funny we would draw them if we ended up getting Atletico because they caused all this trouble in the first place. But yeah, for Manchester United, for me, this needs to be, for our sakes, as decent a draw as possible. I think we were all given an almighty scare by seeing PSG tied with us at the very end of the first draw. And I think barring the fact that somebody may have pressed 1 or 2 incorrect buttons over in Neon, here we are now doing it all over again. I think a decent draw would be one of the Portuguese teams. Benfica, we have history with them. We were knocked out by them in 2005. Love to get one over them again. Sporting clubs of Portugal, old friends of Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes. So it'd be an unusual homecoming, but they will prove to be very tough opposition. And I don't think you can discount the Portuguese champions at all. I'd like one of those. A new opponent in Salzburg, Ralph Rangnick's old employers, Red Bull, could be, especially after yesterday, an interesting draw, all things being permitted. But those 3 would be decent. But I sort of split it into the tougher sides and the more, I wouldn't say easier sides, but a decent draw or a tough draw. A tough draw would be Atletico, Inter, or PSG. I wouldn't want to rule out the possibility of us getting the big boys again. So it'd be a tough one.
It is going to be a tough one, and look, we'll bring you the draw as it happens. I suppose, John, we'll go back to this. Are we slightly concerned? Oh, the coffees. What is that? What is that thing that you've just used there?
I'm on the continent. I'm bringing a European feel, including this little, I think it's called a cafetiere or something like that.
Yeah, but that's not what cafetières look like in the UK.
Yeah. Well, this is Europe, man. Since Brexit, you guys are missing out.
Oh, no wonder why Brexit happened, looking at things like that. What do you want to stock our shelves with those things for? No, but look, in all seriousness, we had this conversation beforehand. That Ahmed, they're talking about tough draws. But I suppose the concern is we've hardly lit up the Champions League in the group stage, have we, John? And let's face it, we had a really favourable group.
Hey,
no, we go John Silk first, then John Kermode.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I guess we are sort of in repetition territory, but yeah, we had a fairly favourable draw in the group, and it helped us, I would say. And I'm looking forward to another. I have this sort of slightly different to what Ahmed's take was on it. I have a kind of I want to avoid PSG. Okay, that's it, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The other ones I then look at. I kind of have a mixture of where would I like to go, where is quite close to where I live, and what would also be a negotiable sort of passage through. So Salzburg is not a million miles. I could probably even get a train to there. Paris would be the same, but I don't want to play PSG. But the exciting ones for me would be Lisbon, but it's pretty far from where I live. So I'd say I would be very happy. Sporting Lisbon, Benfica. They're the two that I really fancy. And I think if it's the second week or the last week of February, because there is a chance now that it might be, I'm on holiday that week. So I'm more than happy to fly over to Lisbon for a few days.
Yeah, you don't need your arm or leg put in for that one, do you? There's lots of you watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit like on this video, share the link as well. Look, support us over the big corporations, BT and UEFA. Support us, stick with us. We're bringing the draw as it happens and a bit of football chat in between as well. And a lot of witty banter, taking the piss out of how Europeans do their coffee. That's what we're all about here. And on top of that, hit that subscribe button. All the subscribers make a huge difference to what we do. We've got a show at 6 o'clock tonight, previewing the Brentford game. And then we've got Bridging the Gap, which is a Manchester United women's team special, and that's what we do. We cover the whole of Manchester United Football Club over here, so hit that subscribe button. We're all just passionate fans. Let me bring Simon back in, who was with us a bit earlier on today. Thank you for coming back, Simon. Appreciate it. Fashionably late are the UEFA delegates. So just talking through the intro now, so hopefully they'll start picking out the right balls in a minute. We're probably just explaining on the mess that they made at the start. So quickly, one by one, let's quickly get your predictions. John Silk, who are we getting?
PSG.
Ahmed, who are we getting?
Benfica.
Simon, who are we getting?
I think we're going to get someone different this time. It can't happen again, can it? Salzburg, I think.
John Kermode, who are we getting?
I'll go Atletico.
God, I'll go into Milan then. Look, we're all split. We could and we should be in the pot for either of these teams. So we'll find out if that's a reality. There's also loads of you watching on Facebook right now. The disappointing thing with Facebook is we can't see you guys in the live chat. So please, can you guys come over to YouTube, search All for United, and get involved in the live chat, because we'd love to have you over here. We really, really would. I'm just quickly having a look here to see if they are jiggling the balls yet and warming them up. No, they're just talking through the teams that are to be drawn, and then they will be getting underway. Funny part of all this, guys, is I've read a bit online that Real Madrid have requested that they start the draw after their fixture with Benfica. Of course they have. And what I love is at the moment they're jiggling the balls and they're doing a demonstration of how the draw is going to be made. And it's like, well, if you stuck to these rules the first time round, then we wouldn't be having this.
Dodgy technology, Ben.
Whoever's stream that is, can you make sure you're muting it, please, if you're watching a draw at the same time? Salzburg have come out the hat. Manchester United are in the pot. So Salzburg against... We're waiting for this to sort of be moved through. I believe that they're taking the names out now. It's good to see Arshavin back there. Me and John Silk were slightly concerned that he was going to end up subbed for this after his performance in the first half. He's double checking the screen now, the delegate.
We're green.
As he goes through. Yeah. So here we go. Right. They are just about to pick out a name. Shavin's getting a name out of the hat. So Salzburg, the ball's opening, will play. Let's have a look. Salzburg will play against Bayern Munich. So already we've got a different tie. Salzburg will play Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich were one of the teams aggravated by the original cock-up because they ended up with Atletico Madrid. So there we go. Salzburg will play Bayern Munich.
They'll be happy with that. I'd be happy.
It's a better draw than Atletico, isn't it?
Yeah.
Much better draw than Atletico.
So we're not getting Atletico. That's that one done.
But Sporting are now out the hat.
Ooh,
And we
come on.
could also get Sporting. So here we go. Sporting will be the home side. And again, he's very carefully taking the names out. No, he's got it wrong already. He's taken Liverpool out. And now he's taking United out.
They're in Ajax's group, weren't they?
He's done that wrong, isn't he? Liverpool aren't meant to have Sporting, are they?
Yeah,
they
they
can
can. They were in
can,
Ajax.
okay.
They're in Ajax's group, and they knocked out Borussia Dortmund.
Ah, good point. I thought only one English club could be seeded in these, but of course that can't be true, can it? Because it would mess up. But Sporting will play Manchester City. Ooh. I mean, City still get a good draw, but that's tasty. Again, we said this at the start. Don't sleep on Sporting. They're in incredible form, and their manager there has built a real winning mentality. I think they lost one game last season, and I think it was in the cup aside from the Champions League. And this season they tend to be doing all right as well. They've got sort of back to the top of Portuguese football. Benfica out the hat. Again, Manchester United could play against Benfica. You fancy this one, don't you, John? John Silk or John Commode, either of you? Too many Johns.
Yeah, I'd take Benfica in a flash, please, because Lisbon were the other one I wanted, or Salzburg.
Well, let's have a look. Benfica out. Beautiful stadium there, isn't it? The Stadium of Light.
Stadium of Light, Stade de Luz. I've been there a couple of times.
So inspired by Sunderland that they named their just like Liverpool were inspired by Celtic's song, and they now sing.
To be fair to Benfica, they had it some decades before Sunderland took it.
Yeah, there we go. Ajax and Benfica will go head to head.
PSG, it's PSG. It's PSG.
Can I just say as well though, this just goes to show with how this redrawn has gone, how much that initial cock up actually did impact the rest of the draw. And the teams you get. And I know it's still luck of the hat and luck of who comes out, but it does make a difference. Chelsea are the next name out, so United can't get drawn here. We can't get drawn against a British team.
That means we've got big boy, haven't we?
Yes. Axel says I want PSG again. Daniel says Ajax are potential winners. Felix says Chelsea will win it again. Leon says he thinks Ajax are favourites for the Champions League. Interesting. So they're putting their names. They are taking considerably longer picking the balls out this time round. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. And Benfica are playing Lille.
Who's left for us? Inter, Benfica, Inter, PSG, and one other.
Atletico.
From those three, I want Atletico.
He looks quite nervous doing the draw, Arshavin, this time, doesn't he? He's a bit worried.
But Athletic have just come out.
Please.
Oh, he's just taking United's ball and it looks quite warm. There's literally two here. I think Atletico can only draw United or PSG, can't they? So it's a 50-50 scenario.
No, they can't draw PSG.
Oh, they can't draw PSG. Okay,
No.
So then it's just United and it is United. So Atletico Madrid against Manchester United. So they wanted a big night out at Old Trafford and they've got it. United will play Atletico.
Yep, happy with that. I'm happier with that than PSG anyway.
Let's have a look. Villarreal were the other team I think in there, weren't they? And they'll now play PSG. Is that right?
No, it'll be
Juventus.
Liverpool been drawn.
No, Villarreal will play Juventus. The Liverpool will play Madrid. Is that right? Or PSG?
Who are Inter playing then?
Oh, okay, so
Liverpool and Madrid won their group. So
it's so annoying. Do you remember they used to show on the screen like the pools at the same time, and they don't do that anymore? Juventus are out, so Juventus will play against Villarreal.
oh,
So the teams still in are
is that Liverpool PSG?
no Liverpool Villarreal.
Oh,
Now Inter Milan are out. Inter Milan, they will play against Liverpool, I think. It's the only team they can get, which means PSG will play Real Madrid. So the losers, the big losers of this draw being redone, you'd say, are PSG and Real Madrid.
oh yeah. I wonder Real Madrid didn't want the draw being redone.
Yeah, I mean, that's mad, isn't it? That's absolutely mad.
That's great. PSG play Real Madrid.
Yeah, Inter Milan against Liverpool.
I'm happy.
PSG against Real Madrid.
Happy. Into Liverpool. That's a tough draw for Liverpool. And one of PSG or Real are going out. That's great. And we've got a trip to Atletico Madrid.
Tough place to go.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean,
team they were.
Then yeah, I mean, listen, that's for me. I just saw Mark Ogden tweet saying that Atletico is as difficult as PSG. I disagree. I think PSG is the one team to avoid from that group, and finally we've avoided them.
Interesting.
Quickly, just let me recap the draw and I'll come to you one by one. Salzburg against Bayern, Sporting against Manchester City, Benfica against Ajax, Chelsea against Lille. So Chelsea keep their tie against Lille. So one that stayed. Atletico against Manchester United, Villarreal against Juventus, and then you've got Inter Milan, Liverpool, and Real Madrid, PSG. Interesting draw, if anything. I think more interesting draw than before, potentially. John Silk, you just said a bit about Atletico. Ahmed, let's come to you. Your reaction to the draw, please.
That's not a good draw, in my opinion. I think we might not enjoy playing Atletico Madrid. This will be a similar game to the Europa League final. I absolutely feel like that will be the case. Simeone hasn't got any centre backs right now because they're all injured. But once they all get fit again, he will come to England and try and pull off a similar sort of performance that he did against Liverpool last year, pre-pandemic. And this side are a really annoying side to play against when they're away from home. So we need a result at their place if we are to stand any chance of getting into the last 16. So, last 8, sorry. So that game concerns me very, very much. It's a bit like Sociedad last year in the Europa League, where they were flying high and were probably going to be, were not title contenders at the time, but looked to be top 4. This game is different. This is a massively different game. I don't think we're going to fare too well in this time.
Simon, what do you think, mate?
And that's my honesty talking.
Yeah, I think even though they're not doing particularly well in the league, they're still La Liga champions from not very long ago. And Simeone is quite wily, isn't he? He knows how to get through these ties, even if it's not pretty. They'll be organised. But I mean, I think with our attacking strength, if they can start clicking, we could do a number on them. But I think it is going to be tough. I think it's an easier draw than PSG. Just it's the second worst draw, I'd say. I'd have fancied us against any of the others, including Inter. But yeah, it's still a tough one. But I think we're a little bit happier. Oh, cat.
There's nothing better than a cat popping up with a live stream. John Commode, what about you? What do you think of the draw?
Yeah, me to echo what others have said, it's a tough draw. I think they're very defensively sound. Atletico, they're probably the toughest team to break down, I think, even though they're out of form this season. I think both United and Atletico are 5th in their respective leagues at the moment, I think. And they're basically, but it's a tough draw. I think we can beat them, but it'll be a tough game. It'll be similar to the Villarreal games. I think we'll have to grind out a result in both games. I think in terms of romantics, you got Ronaldo going back to Madrid, or being Atletico, De Gea going back to Atletico, and it'll be an interesting 2 legs, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will be. And there's a lot of romanticism behind all of these. I can't remember the last time. John Silk probably knows. We actually played Athletic. Anyone know? Go on, John.
I remember us playing them in the European Cup Winners' Super Cup in 1991 in a one-off match that I think Brian McClare scored the winner in. That would be 91. So we won the Cup Winners' Cup, and then we had a Super Cup match against... No, the following season. Tell a lie. That was Red Star Belgrade. The following season, they knocked us out of the European Cup Winners' Cup over 2 legs. So 91, 92. I don't think we've played them since then.
Oh, I can't remember playing them since then. They've played Liverpool a lot, but I can't remember playing them since then. So come on, we're not going to stay on too long. We've been on ages, guys. Hit subscribe, hit that like button. We have got Atletico in the round of 16. The draw is done. The draw has been redone. John Still, let me come back to you. Come on, then. Are we beating Atletico? Are we going through?
Our chances of beating Atletico are greater than that against Paris Saint-Germain. So I'm now calling it 50-50. Heart says United. Let's see what form we're going into. I mean, the thing is with Atletico, I mean, they've got Griezmann back. I think Suarez is injured right now, but, so they've sort of got an aging team, if you like. I mean, João Felix was the big person, but he didn't start last night, and he's fit. So they've got injuries left, right, and center right now. But of course, but João Felix, this guy who is supposed to be pulling up trees for them, is going to be the next best player in the world. He's been there a couple of years, and he's still not quite developed into the player that they wanted him to. So fingers crossed he doesn't develop into that player come February either. And I think we've got a chance of going through. I agree that they're the second most difficult. If this was just the first time and we drew Atletico, I'd be disappointed. But having got a second bite of the cherry, and we've got a slightly easier tie, and I'm making it 50-50 against Atletico.
Interesting. Ahmed, are we beating Atletico and going through to the next round?
If we perform away from home, I think that's the most fundamental thing we have to consider here. We get a result in Madrid. If we get the result there and defend well at Old Trafford, then we'll qualify. Because this team knows no bounds. I don't know if any of you watched the Porto match the last night in last week's final match day, but it was an absolute riot. That game was basically a riot. They're going to find ways to one-up you, not only on the pitch, but off it as well. So this team will show no mercy. And I have optimism that United will perform up front. It's at the back I'm worried about, and also whether Atletico centre halves will be ready for that game or not. But it's 2 months. Who knows what will happen to now and then? But yeah, I have hope.
Okay. Ahmed has hope. Simon, do you have hope?
Yeah, I believe that we can do that one. Again, they've got time to improve, just as we've got time to improve. But I mean, they're not quite the same level as last year, obviously. But like we said, things can change. But I would back us a lot more than the PSG tie, and it's someone new as well. It's exciting, isn't it, to play someone new? I've just had a look at the history, and it looks like we've only played them twice, like John said, just in 1991, and that's it. So it's a new experience, another new ground to go to for the travelling fans and stuff. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, I would back us over 2 legs if we get, like Ahmed said, getting it right away from home is absolutely key. But we've got a manager that can hopefully organise us. But we're going to be playing a very organised team ourselves, so that will be intriguing, that one. But I think, did Liverpool go out to him just before COVID hit? I mean, yeah, they did a job on them then, didn't they? And Liverpool were firing around. Oh, was that when Liverpool actually went a bit crap for a bit? Well, that was the title season.
No, they were in the league, so. Yeah.
That was in extra time, wasn't it? They scored. Who was it? It was Sal. Was it actually Sal?
Marcos
Llorente, wasn't it?
Llorente, that was it. Yeah, Llorente, yeah. John Commode, quickly, let's come over to you. Rangnick against Simeone. It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be. It will be. I think both are very good tacticians, and it'll be a very tactical match, both games. And I personally think it'll be a very narrow aggregate. Of course, worth mentioning, away goals don't count in the knockouts either this time, and it wouldn't surprise me if it finishes something like 2-1 on aggregate, maybe 1-1 and 1-0 in the other game. I think both are very good tacticians, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I think there'll be two very tight games, quite dogged, and I think it'll be decided by a goal either way.
It's going to be an interesting one. Mark, let me bring you in for 2 minutes because I need to dash, but I can stick around if you need me, like you've mentioned in the group chat. Quickly, give me your thoughts. Atletico in the round of 16.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. I don't think sometimes form and certain teams goes out the window when you're in the Champions League. And listen, we talk about getting the best. It's always nice to play the best, but it doesn't matter who we play. It's always going to be a tough game. And we just, by that point, hopefully we've had enough time with Rangnick and it can, hopefully we see an improvement on the squad. And by that point, we should be ready to go. And I listen. I think it's always a really good sort of engagement with the fans to see who's going to be playing. You've got all that sort of thing, romantics behind it, and Atletico are going to be tough. We know that, but we are more than capable of getting over them. And you're a very good point actually, John, about the away goals rule. Totally forgot about that, and obviously that is going to have an effect too, probably with how we set up, probably with how we play, and we'll just have to see. But yeah, I'm confident in United. I believe that we can beat anybody. We just need to see an improvement in the meantime. Rangnick's philosophy being instilled a little bit more by that point, and yeah, absolutely, we could beat them.
Come on, United. We've got them for the taking. A trip to Spain it is. United play Atletico in the round of 16. A massive thanks to John Kermo, John Silk and Simon for being around this whole time. You guys are legends. Big shout out to Ahmed for getting out of bed. Really appreciate it, pal. Thank you for that. Always appreciate you coming on, mate, and giving you grief. Thank you, fella. Appreciate you. And thank you, Mark, for jumping in as well and helping us be able to talk this out. Make sure you subscribe, hit a like on the video. It is Atletico in the round of 16. Be watching tonight at 6 o'clock for our Brentford preview. Until then, stay safe, guys. Ciao for now.